Greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Guru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Fitzgerald will be on shortly. He's coming on here in a few. He's taking care of something, so he'll be on shortly. Guys, make sure you like the content. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go to dynastymir.com. Also, tour Sierra Leone. Yeah, we will be in beautiful Sierra Leone in about 20 days, about 3 weeks. About 3.5 weeks, we will be in Sierra Leone. But so if you want to roll with us, if you want to roll to Sierra Leone with us, let me know. Go to Danfo.Africa. Again, go to Danfo, Danfo.Africa. Check us out. We have one more spot left. And also, if you're eligible for citizenship in Sierra Leone, if your DNA results from African ancestry, it has to be African ancestry. It can't be 23andMe. It can't be Ancestry.com. I think there's another one called African Heritage or something like that. It has to be from African ancestry. If you have your DNA results from African ancestry, and if they link you back to Sierra Leone, you are eligible. Again, you are eligible for citizenship. Once again, if you have your DNA results from African ancestry and they link you back to Sierra Leone, you are eligible for citizenship. So I'm taking a group next month. I got about 16, 17 people who are eligible for citizenship. And then some people who are just coming, just want to have a great time. So that's another thing too. If you don't have your DNA results, you're still eligible to come and have a great time and still enjoy yourself in Sierra Leone. I'm looking forward to it. We leave next month. So make sure you go to Danfo, Danfo.Africa. Again, Danfo.Africa.com. Again, Danfo.Africa.com. We got Brother Fitzgerald on with us. We are live, Fitzgerald.
Oh, hey. Hello, everybody. How you doing?
We are live, everyone. Guys, first of all, make sure, let's welcome Fitzgerald, everyone. First of all, let's welcome Fitzgerald. Guys, make sure you hit that like button as well. Please hit that like button. Also, go subscribe to Fitzgerald's page, Find Ways to Win. Again, Find Ways to Win. Make sure you go and subscribe to Fitzgerald's page, Find Ways to Win. Today's topic, I've changed the title a couple times, Fitzgerald, but me and you, before we come on, we usually talk, and that's what inspires the live stream. But you brought up something we were talking. You discussed, and we'll get on that. We'll jump into that. You brought up, as far as honoring a woman, when a woman continuing to honor a woman, when a woman continues to dishonor you in public. And then you brought up the problem, or what can happen, the dangers of falling in love with the wrong woman. You brought that up. So that's today's topic. What can happen with falling in love with the wrong woman? You brought up an example, and this happened recently. Brother was in the military, came home, found his wife in the bed with another military man, lost his cool, killed that man. He's now in jail for the rest of his life. Meanwhile, his woman is free. That happens a lot. This is going on all the time. Another example. Man meets a woman online, Fitzgerald. Starts talking to that man. And we're not blaming. See, in this case, I mean, you can't really blame the woman. It's just there's just a lot of simp men as well. Here's another example, Fitzgerald. Woman meets a man online. Woman convinces this man that she just met to go and attack her ex-lovers, her baby daddies, her ex-husbands. And there's men that will literally go and do that. The Will Smith situation. You got a woman who's still in love with a guy that's been dead for 25 years, for sure. Tupac Shakur. Still in love. At every moment she gets, she has to remind Will that, hey, you ain't Tupac. I'm not laughing. Listen, Fitzgerald, I'm not laughing, Fitzgerald. I'm not laughing, but every moment she gets, she has to remind Will that she's still in love with this guy that's been dead for over 25 years. And not only that, look at how he passed away. In Las Vegas, gets into a fight, thug life, and then gets shot when the guys retaliate. I mean, imagine you're clean cut. Will Smith has done everything right, comes from a 2-parent household. You don't have a criminal record. You've done everything right. But she tells you every time she gets that she's in love with this guy named Tupac. I know a lot of people like Tupac, but as far as when it comes to a man of character, Tupac, you can't put Tupac in the same category as Will Smith when it comes to being an upstanding, honorable man. Now, if you guys want to have the argument, we can. But just think about that, Fitzgerald. You're an upstanding man, never committed a crime, never hurt anybody, done the right thing. But the man she wants to continually remind you of that she's still in love is Tupac. I'm trying not to laugh, Fitzgerald. I'm trying. Then you got the whole situation. Then the next thing, she gets into an entanglement with her son's, as one of her son's friends, Fitzgerald. Then has a red table talk, a show where she puts everything out in public. And then to add insult to injury, after the entanglement, still wants to remind Will Smith about Tupac. Will Smith then buys his wife, Fitzgerald, a $5 million home. She's not happy. Fitzgerald, a $5 million home. $8 million home, Fitzgerald. She ain't happy with it. She's not happy. She's not happy. Hey guys, this is not hearsay. Like, they talked about this in public. Literally buys her, I think it was like a $5 or $8 million home. Buys it for her. She's not happy, for sure. Not happy. But he is constantly reminded of a guy that's been dead for 25 plus years. Now you have the situation here at the Oscars where Chris Rock makes a joke. Will Smith, I guess, to prove that he got street cred, that he Tupac, that he got that Tupac spirit in him as well, goes up on stage and assaults Chris Rock. Now, Chris Rock's not going to press charges, but I mean, you're honoring this woman, you're defending this woman, but this woman continues to embarrass you in public. Go ahead, Fitzgerald.
The reason you see this look on my face and almost like a nothing to laugh about, nothing to joke about. A man, good-looking man, 6'4".
Fitzgerald, 6'4",
worth about $450 million by himself. I would say he loves the wrong woman, but as I stated earlier, what goes on between a man and his wife, that's nobody's business with his and theirs. Now, this is 100% from start to finish Will Smith's fault. And there is nothing honorable about what he did to assault that man, who incidentally is a paid comedian, paid entertainer. They're both in the entertainment world. Was Chris wrong? Well, I don't want to say that because I've seen him rip people on all stages. I mean, but when I say this is Will Smith's fault, it is 100% on him, not on his wife. He chose her. And I did a video I want you guys to reference after this show on my channel, Find Ways to Win. And it simply said, control your emotions or your emotions will control you. You need to go listen to that. Dinas, this is sad, man. This is a man at the peak of his career. And keep in mind, he's 50 years old and he's still at the peak of his career. This man's been a household name for many, many years. I can understand the emotion that's involved. Yeah, I can understand I know many men will want to do that. I mean, no man likes to look bad and get humiliated, especially on a stage like that. But he was dead wrong. Man, he was totally dead wrong. The consequences, gentlemen, of loving the wrong woman, of honoring someone who continually shows you dishonor. But he loves her and he madly loves her. So that'll make you overlook a lot of things that perhaps you shouldn't. And she didn't lose any credibility as far as like that. Will did. Now, I don't think if this would have been an ordinary person or maybe an actor of his caliber, Popo would have come dragged him out of there. So we see the privilege and everything. And yes, he did make apologies, but apologies after an act such as that really don't mean anything. It's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing to give your heart, gentlemen, to the wrong woman. I mean, it really is. It can make you Fruit Loop batty and Fruit Loop crazy. Now we know. Now if there would have been maybe a situation where this man had been this woman was fully respecting him, fully showed him fully showed that, and that's Black Beauty. That's how we like them, madly in love. Hey, I don't want to lose you as a listener, lady. But you did.
No, Fitzgerald. Listen, we don't censor here. Fitzgerald, we don't censor here. Say what you gotta say, Fitzgerald. We don't censor here. Black Beauty knows, she knows.
That is a typical female answer. That's how we like them, madly in love. Okay. So, are you of the bad boy persuasion are you thinking that okay, the love goes both ways? How I like them being madly in love with me as I am with them. Then we can have that madly in love, but it can't just be on a one-way street, gentlemen. That's dangerous. That is so freaking dangerous. And I would say I grieve for the man, but I'm not. I was having a talk with a good friend of mine, a very, very good friend, this morning about that. And he said, had that dude would have did that to me, and this guy's a corporate attorney, he said, we would have been rolling over the stage. He said, I would have rather that the guy hit me with a closed fist and a slap. He's fortunate that Mr. Rock didn't press charges with him, who had every bit. Wow. How much does it take, Amir, men going to jail for life, men getting killed, um, men losing financial freedom, men losing their kids simply because they're not strong a way to walk away from a toxic situation because that woman has all of their heart.
Joe, say that again. You just said something. Not strong enough to walk away from a toxic.
Strong enough to walk away.
We talk about the women.
We can go back on what the last stream we did Monday that asked when I said you must be able to walk alone. If you see something that's not beneficial to you, or if it has worn its course, you have to be able to walk away. You have to be strong enough to walk away. Man, you know what the thing is. What the thing is, Kanye and Will Smith just paint a picture of African American men as emotional. Dumb comment. I'm not emotional. Prince is not emotional. You can't group everybody in the thing. We're talking about Will Smith. This generality. How about this? How about this? African American women are unmarriable. Well, not all of them, Fitzgerald. Well, you just use a generality. Let's stick to the topic and stick to specifics. When we look at things like that fact of the matter, a very, very high value, A-lister, good looking, extraordinary wealthy man lost control. That put him in a state of weaknesses. Now it makes a thing like with the other side of the coin with his wife. I can go ahead and do this toxic behavior. I can go in there and bring him on my mom-in-law and my mother and in front of my TV forum, and I can just make jokes. And he's a joke to her. Why spend time and why keep hitching with that? You say, well, it's cheaper to keep it. Well, hell, even if I lose half, if I'm 450, I'm still $225 million up with peace. He would have been better way to stop this at the first thing. But I'm not gonna say what a man and his wife should have done. Frankly, it's none of my business what those guys do. It became the world's business because of the way he reacted. And he reacted in a way that was very, very detrimental far as to him and made him really, really look bad, truly look bad. All the great stuff he's done and all the things he has so-called taken the high road and stuff like that. He's going to be looked at differently because of this act.
For sure. You didn't think it was staged? I don't think it was staged.
No, that wasn't staged. That wasn't staged. I mean, the man had won an Oscar. He don't really need the publicity. He doesn't really need that whatsoever. He has it all already. He has everything that supposedly a woman of any complexion would want. But yet we see this Achilles heel in him that he doesn't have emotional control. Oh, Fitzgerald, how would you feel if that was your wife and did that to you? I'd be angry. I'll probably be upset, but I would have ended it even before it got to that point. I mean, what's the use of constantly giving your all and constantly giving everything you got to someone who's not reciprocating? You want to know what's torture to a man? That is definitely it. Oh, besides a woman you love actually committed adultery on you, that'll rip a man's soul out. But you have to go on. He doesn't have the luxury of being able to withdraw away. Dinaz, he's world renowned. It's not like he can go to Brazil or Dubai or Zurich, Switzerland, or Montreal, Quebec, or Auckland, New Zealand, or Munich, Germany. He can't go anywhere in the world without recognizing people, and people know that, knows his household business. I don't know what that type of pressure is, but I do know the dangers of men losing control. I do know the dangers of what it can get a man into if he's not strong enough to walk away. And we gotta, how much is enough? But how much is one expected to take? and what he had to prove his love with it. Well, hell, that's the first damn problem there. Prove your love to your wife. Prove your love to the woman who carries your last name. And I don't get that. I don't get that. And and the consequences can be quite severe.
Well, I want to interject? I want to interject real quick. Sorry, Fitzgerald. All right.
It's okay.
I want the women to call in here shortly in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I want the women to call in who keep with this narrative that Will Smith dragged her for years. Just show me the proof.
Exactly.
Show me the proof.
I'm agreeing with you.
All I want to see is the proof. Just show me the proof.
I'm agreeing with you on that too. I mean, you show the proof. I mean, not opinion, not what you think, not what you heard on TMZ or something like that.
Just show the proof. Just show the proof. I'm just saying, show me the Will Smith entanglement. Show me the Will Smith red table talk. Show me Will Smith's Tupac. Like, just show me the proof. That's all I'm asking. Just show me the proof. If you show me the proof, I'll be quiet. But Champagne J, all the women that Will Smith was dragging her, Will Smith was doing it. Just show me. All I want to see is the
proof. That's silly talk. That's not grown people's talk. That's talk of children. I mean, and even Dave, as far as when we get off the stream, it's things like that. Even they know that chick was that dang wrong. That what brought this in. But more importantly, we're not talking about Mrs. Will Smith. We're talking about Will Smith and the way he responded. I mean, the way he have. Would you say got himself jammed up, Diane? Because he's not. I don't think he's going to really suffer any consequences for this. I really don't. I mean, he'll
be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be very fine. Not less he. He's not a bad boy. Yeah, he's about as much as a bad boy as I am. You can't play that role. He don't have street creed, and why would you even want it? That's not who he is. That's not his personality. That's not his bent. But why would you want to be with someone who continually dishonors you? Why would any person feel that they have to do that for kids? No. For money? I don't think so. Clearly, this stuff has been eating him alive. But since this happened, we don't know what other things has happened. But he was dead wrong to hit that man like that. No, would have been me. We would have been rolling on the stage.
Right.
I mean, that's how that would have happened. But Chris took that hit, man, and still elected not to press charge. He said, even here say, hey, man, I'm a comedian. This is what I'm paid to do. I'm paid to joke. And I've seen some of Mr. Rock's stuff. I'll put him up there with the way he comes with that fire. I put him right up there with Dave Chappelle. I mean, that's what these guys do. That's how they make their living and stuff, and get laughs, and sometimes get laughs at other people's expenses and things like that. But let's look at how it can be if he was an average man, if Will was an average man, and the consequences would have been much more different. Now, does he get a pass because he's extraordinarily wealthy, very good looking, very talented? He chose this woman. That's his business. I do not believe in interfering with married people's lives. That's their business. Okay. Some things that maybe that it wouldn't work for me. It probably wouldn't work for you, Dynas, but evidently it works for him. So if you're gonna keep continually allowing toxicity like that, be prepared for fallouts like this. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. No, and it just simply don't work. On a little sidebar, Dynas, and I said this, and I'll say it to the audience. I've been madly in love with my last relationship. I was madly in love with my wife, but it got to a point where I just couldn't stay. Okay, and I learned things like that when your soul is so knitted to an individual. With this case, we're talking about men to women. It can make you think and do some crazy things. Now, being I didn't have really good bail money, couldn't have come a kind of really good attorney. I'm of the personality that the number one key thing with me is I have to be wanted. Once you convince me that I'm no longer wanted, I quietly withdraw, and I don't believe in coming back. No, why let disrespect, dishonor, trifleness, why let it keep stacking upon stacking upon stacking upon? Because a man is not a piece of iron. Eventually he's going to have a breaking point if he doesn't remove himself away from that situation. And so that was his decision to do, but we see some of the consequences of the decision. Now, this lashing out right here on television, don't think this is the first time, he probably did that, but this is the main one that got covered, because, he had a while to sit down in that chair. He was on the front row. He had a time to, okay, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. He walks up, get his awards, looks at him, cold cocks him. Some people pull out guns. Some people decide to throw fists. Some people decide to hire hitmen. Some people decide to do that. Well, before it gets to that point, you really have to have a grown folks conversation of, okay, what's going to be the consequence? What's going to be the fallout of this? And it lets you really can put you in a bad situation. I remember when I went through things like that, I withdrew. I withdrew and I allowed myself to de-stress, grieve, get back on point. I totally secluded. And I say seclude, I shut myself down. I went and talked to a couple of friends. I went and talked to people who could get me back on bearings, and that was a long years. With an S process. But you're not gonna read about me on the 6 o'clock news. You're not gonna see, hey, Mr. Fitzgerald, does he got handcuffs on? You're not gonna do that, because is someone is like that with me? Is it really worth me risking my life, my freedom, my thing? Just leave. Just walk. No, what's so hard about that? I tell you what's so hard about that. Because if you are so in love with a woman where she can just do any freaking thing and anything, and you still going to put up, you are green lighting behavior like that. Now, I don't know how else to put that.
But you know what, Fitzgerald? You know what else isn't being talked about? So Black entertainers, Black Hollywood, have been crying about the lack of diversity in the Oscars, and Oscars so white, Oscars so white. Now you got two Black men at the Oscars fighting. A Black man
who are at the peak of their game. Who are at the peak of their game.
Oscars. That Black people just were Oscars so white. We need an Oscar. Now they're at the Oscars, worldwide television, assaulting you. Well, one man assaulted.
Okay, all right, Diane. I'm going to answer just like I answer Black Beauty. Okay, and okay, you got Idris, he ain't doing it. You got Denzel, he didn't do that. You got the late great Sidney Poitier, he didn't do that. You got Tyler Perry. You got a lot of outstanding Black people out there doing. You got Angela Bassett. You got a lot of outstanding actors out there. We Morgan Freeman. I mean, these guys, and I'm quite sure they've had their share of controversy too. And it's about a man controlling himself, and it's about and one of the ways that I see, the only way I see, is separation from toxicity. You can't keep continually living in an environment that's making you sick. I mean, it yields no good end. The mental toll alone that it would take on you is incredible enough. No, but the man made a decision, and I stand by what I said. He was dead wrong for doing that. Defending her honor. What honor? What honor? The honor of a wife. I'll tell you guys what my granddaddy taught me. Mama, brother, sister, daddy, that's just the name. It's the person that's filling the role. No, you know that's what he
Hey,
drew.
repeat, for sure. You got to repeat that again. You got to repeat. You got to repeat that.
My grandfather, Arthur Lee Stanford, taught me that mama, brother, sister, daddy, that's just the name. It's the person that's fulfilling the role. And I never forgot that. And you know, and when a man that chooses to stay in situations that is making him ill, situations that's bringing him continual humiliation, grief, mental anguish, and he chooses to remain and abide in that, thinking someone is going to change. You know, be ready for the consequences, ladies and gentlemen. People are who they are. They just didn't all of a sudden become like that. I'm going to use a quote. I believe it was I want to say to Niger, and he made a comment, or I hope I got the reference wrong. But no, or go send me or something like that. But he said, you know, sometimes we don't meet the real person, we meet their representative. And it's up to you to do the proper legwork to find out who you're really dealing with, and who you really are. And and that if you're not proper vetting, if you're not properly going through character checks, or you're not properly doing that, you know, get ready for stuff like this. Another video that I made reference to, you know, that I made reference to on my channel, and you guys need to listen to this one too, because a lot of stuff I talk a little bit more in detail than what I talk here. But it says, never lie to someone who trusts you, and never trust someone who lies to you or betrays you. The relationship, not with me. Once I find that out, the relationship is never the same. I mean, it's that's just the way I'm built. I'm either loyal to you. I either trust you or I don't. You know, and with me, you know, with things the way I look at that, the reason I take like lying and betrayal so dang serious, and millions of people think like me, because I would have never done that to you, or certain people would have never done that to you. So, but that was that man's choice to stay in it. That was that man's to react in that, and he owes Mr. Rock a serious apology. He's lucky Mr. Rock and brought him off the floor with him. You know, to slap a man with to slap a man to slap a man open palm. That's dude. That's it for men. That's the equivalent of being spat on. You know that a man can hit you with a closed fist. That's easy for you to take. Then just someone slap you. That's like one of the highest dishonor. And people could say, well, he just blacked out. He was just so mad. He was just so enraged about it popping to his wife and everything. He could have got up and went to the bathroom. He could have, you know, made some excuse. He could have just set someone else up on the stage. You know, he could have did that, but he didn't. And he has the unfortunate thing of being a household name. And because of his field, his life is an open book. But millions of people, millions of men deal with that every day. They're just not a Will Smith. And instead of slapping, man, they bringing out the nine. They bringing out the gun. They're beating someone to death, or they're getting caught up in a whole bunch of things, and, you know, losing careers and losing freedoms. It's a very big deal when you're so emotional control. I don't think a man should really give his full heart fully to a woman. I don't believe that. I used to. I just don't believe that anymore. You know, respect and honor has to be reciprocated to me. It should be like a circle. But once the circle is unbroken, once the circle is broken, what do you have? Really, does not a man hitch to a woman, girlfriend, boyfriend, especially wife, because they think that person will honor them continually. They think that person will build them up, make them, you know, be a confidant, be someone that they can rely on, be someone they can trust, but someone they can have a friend, you know. So you take that off the table, and then yet you're still keep honoring that. Why? Need improvement. Let me hear what you got to say, man.
Go ahead, needs improvement. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you fine. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, that whole situation was I thought it was fake at first, but I guess after the next day, I'm assuming it's real. Yeah, I just didn't understand that. Like I said, if he had a problem with the joke, what I'm saying. I don't know if Chris Rock know that she got alopecia or whatever the case may be. I think he probably should have caught him outside or caught him in the back, and with the I don't know, to get up and slap that man like that, around the world was kind of like a little too much. I think he should have handled it, when they got backstage and approached him and did whatever he needed to do back there, behind in the back, in the back. And then too, like with Chris Rock, it's like the gentleman was saying before me, I couldn't let this man slap me. I know Chris Rock, he's been living very rich and white. He kind of, I seen another clip where it was like he was sitting there with some guys and they was saying some racist stuff or call him a nigga or something like that, and he didn't do nothing. So I know he's that neutered type of black man. He's been living extremely neutered and white for a while. So but I couldn't have just let that man slap me and don't do nothing. Like, it just, I mean, I know he's small guy, small frail guy, but I mean, bite him or do something, yeah, I just think we're overreacting. I mean, to be honest with you, I hear you. I understand what y'all saying in regards to the August Alsina thing, but I think with that situation, like, I'm just going off what August Alsina said. He said he went to Will Smith for permission and for whatever the case. They had talked prior to that and talking about they're gonna be life partners, and he had talked to him. And I think with that situation, they was, everybody know how, that Will and Jada got that weird Hollywood relationship, and they switch off and do all the freaky stuff they do in Hollywood and be having other people. I think they was more so just mad that got out. I don't think that I don't think that, like, how we look at that, okay, she cheated. That wasn't really to me, from what the guy was saying and from what happened. I don't think that was necessarily something that Will didn't know. From all the facts that came out, Will knew about that, and they do their freaky stuff, together and separate. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I thought about that. Like, he shouldn't hit Chris Rock like that, man. Just go backstage and handle your business. So that's all I wanted to say.
I agree. I certainly agree. Miss Miriam, talk to me.
Hi everyone. I just have an interesting angle I wanted to put out. What if it was just a whole culture clash? For example, if it was an all black show, first of all, I don't think Chris Rock would have uh, slandered women with their husbands right there.
Okay, let me stop you right here, my lady. Let's stick to topic. Not all black. We're talking specifically about Will Smith and Chris Rock. I don't want to. I absolutely hate generalities, lobbing a whole group into something that individuals use. I mean, I absolutely hate that. Just as much as I hate, well, black man this and black women that. No, we're talking about these two individuals. So you can stick it to that topic right there. I would be greatly, that would be greatly more beneficial to fit into what we're trying to, to what we're trying to discuss right now.
And I don't know if this is generalizing, but I heard in a different podcast, someone was saying that he had just finished doing the King Richard movie, and that maybe he still had that same energy that was going on. Just like I remember a different show, someone was saying that they made, the one they made, Tyreek made 1804, and he said that the people who were acting in it, after they did the fighting scene, they had adrenaline, they were pumped. And I just wonder if Will Smith, he was still in that adrenaline mode.
I have to disagree. The man is a trained actor. He's played the take on roles to that Will Smith is what I call a method actor. meaning that he can actually become the character that he's imitating. We're not talking about a novice guy right here. We're talking about a guy who really, who's been in entertainment since he's about in his teens, when he started with Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff when his rap career. Then he launched that up to the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So he's been around it. He's been around the entertainment industry probably for more than half his life. So he knows the ins and outs of that. He knows how to control his emotions, how to show emotions, how to basically turn the character off and turn the real person off. So why would a man of his pedigree get involved with such little?
I've heard of actors who, after their movie, they need therapy.
Yeah. If I can interject, so the guy that played the Judas and the Black Messiah, about the assassination of Fred Hampton, the guy who played the person that set up Fred Hampton, he said he needed counseling after that role. Heath Ledger, when he played Joker, same thing. In fact, he killed himself. So it does happen, Fitzgerald. But the thing is, Miriam, that from King Richard to where we're at now, as far as the Oscars in March 27, 2022, is so far apart that you can't really use the King Richard, or he was still in that role. I would say excuse, because it's so far apart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me go ahead, Miriam, inject something like this, because I received an interesting point from Miss Wendy Green. She said, she's right, Fitzgerald. Will Smith said he becomes his characters. He can't turn it off like that. Miriam is correct. Well,
especially if he was gonna go get an Oscar for it, like it kind of like a trigger to bring it back. I don't know.
Okay, was he right or wrong in his actions? No, I'm not going to let you do the luxury of giving halfway answers. The answers are yes or no. Was he right and wrong in his action towards Mr. Rock? You take it too long.
I think.
What? Yes or no? Was he right or wrong in his actions?
Well, I don't think it's just a yes or no answer.
Of course, it's a yes.
It's a yes or no answer.
Yes or no. I mean, no gray areas in here. We don't. A definitive yes or no. Was Mr. Smith right or wrong his actions towards Mr. Rock?
I don't think there's a right or wrong. I don't think it's
please,
that simple.
Please, come on, stop this. Are you black or white?
I'm black.
You can answer that so surely. I mean, and this is like really
personally, I think if I had to pick one off the bat, I would say that it was right.
Okay, all right, that's your opinion. Now we go into the second half of that. How do you justify that behavior with Mr. Smith?
Okay. Well, first of all, you put me in a corner here, but I would say
no. I'm talking to an intelligent, articulate woman, and that's I've heard you speak on here before, and so I'm giving you credit for what you are. I'm familiar with you, So,
okay.
So I just want you to explain your stuff, and if that's what you believe, that's great. I just want you to be able to explain why you feel that way.
Okay, I feel that way because I think marriage is sacred, and it should be defended. However, I do feel that there's a culture clash going on there. Like Chris Rock is behaving like white world behavior, like he's making fun of black women, and it's okay, and all these things are okay to do.
Most of the black entertainers make fun of other black people, but because white people dare not touch that because they're afraid of the fallout of that. So right. They're very much afraid of the fallout of that. Right. But I'll give it to you.
So and I feel that what's his name, Will Smith was I think he learned something from the King Richard movie. He learned a different way of seeing people, of seeing Black people, of behaving, of defending, you know. And I don't know. I think he was trying to.
You realize, my lady, you're talking in circles, don't you?
Yeah, Mary, you're definitely
I am.
talking in circles. Like, you lost me at the
You know,
Chris
I was like,
Rock and something about. I'm lost now, Miriam. I'm lost.
oh, sorry. Okay. Concise. Okay, I think Chris Rock was like, I think he was cooning a little bit.
he
That's
was
what I
what?
think. I think he was cooning a little bit.
Cooning?
Like he,
How was
yeah,
it?
like he
How
was,
was it? How was it, Cooney?
you know, making, using Black women as the butt of a joke, thinking, of course, you know, that's going to be okay.
He
Everyone
wasn't
else.
talking about, he wasn't
I mean,
talking
Mary,
about black women.
he makes everybody the butt of a joke. He's a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying, because in this one instance he pointed out a Black woman that he deserved to be
That,
slapped on national TV?
I think
I'm
in another.
lost, Miriam.
I think in another setting that it would have been okay. I think in that setting it's crazy. But I had to say yes or no, so I had to pick either the setting or the
Right.
action.
Okay, so what you're conveniently doing is walking in the middle. You're taking the middle road there. So you
No,
so
I'm being clear. I think the action in and of itself is understandable, but the setting in
was
which
it
it
right? Was
happened,
it right or wrong?
the action in and of itself made sense and it was right, but the setting, I guess, made it wrong.
I don't give a damn what type of setting there is. A man's could sit up there and slap me, public and things like that. We're gonna have a different type of setting. We rolling. We're rolling. I mean, you know, that ain't you know, hey, no. Especially you know, if, two men, and you know, it's bad. It can be bad enough at just public, but you do something like that in the audience of something like 50 million people.
Yeah.
And you're also in the entertainment business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I don't see that. But hey, I asked you for your opinion. You gave it. I thank you for it. Pan,
We got,
let me hear what you
Pan, Afro, can, am. Yeah, go ahead.
How you doing, Brother Dynas and Mr. Stevens?
Good,
We're doing
sir.
good. Go ahead.
Okay. So very quickly, yeah, I did send in that comment that because I will stick that I still think that it was a staged action between both Chris Rock, specifically between both Chris Rock and Will Smith, just because they're both actors, they're both celebrities, and celebrities have a weird way, just like Kanye's recent instance, they have weird ways of doing things at certain times of certain stages in their careers, especially when they have a project or stuff coming out to not just because Will Smith and Chris Rock will always be relevant, but to poke more attention towards their specific upcoming endeavors. So I still think it was staged just from that standpoint, because if you look at the reaction, Will Smith was clearly laughing after that joke. That's not undeniable. He didn't take it in a certain way. Jada did have that look on her face, which leads to believe she would never be part of that.
I can flow with that, but let me also say here that I ain't trying to take over your show. I'm just trying to understand it, because of course it's helped me get better for my own platform too. Thank you for training me.
No, go ahead.
Listen, you're talking to a man that if I'm very blazing angry, sometimes I will laugh. The laughing is like a little mechanism to calm me down, to give me a little time to think. But it's not funny at all to me. I mean, it really isn't. You know, I mean, there are some people who are super quiet, and I've been told for the longest, be wary of the ones who are real quiet. Don't worry about the ones who talk all the time, because those are the ones that hurt you. But laughter sometimes, to me, if I'm blazing hot, if I'm highly offended, I'll use that mechanism, like to collect myself, you know, or not to let you know that you really got to me. But at the end, you know, depending on what it is, you know, I may want to tear your head off. I know many people have coping mechanisms like that. Some people just get loud. Some people just get silent. Some people just lash out. But the ones who laugh, the ones who are silent, the one who drop their head like breathe heavy like that, what they're trying to do is collect themselves before they act. Okay, so obviously the man still lost control. But if we say it's stage, okay, this is the first time hearing on the show right here. Prince sent this to me when I woke up. I saw it on there, and I didn't. But was the tears with his apology, was that stage too? I mean, one could argue he's an actor. I mean, it seemed like he was pretty remorseful. The fact that he lost control was you consider that stage? I mean, it looked like he knew he had crossed the line.
I still think that was staged, sir, because well, two things, right? I liked how you asked Miriam, the previous caller, whether it was a right or wrong action. Now, if it was not staged, I don't think, especially as men, us three men were up here, that given the occasion, that wasn't the right action by him. Let's move to the rumble of if it isn't staged. That wasn't the right action. But if it was staged, everything was an intended outcome, because that was an outcome that was going to happen. Because obviously, because of the occasion, he had to apologize. So they're actors. They're known. They know what's going to happen, especially the outcome, and especially what's going to be the end goal.
And Pan, not to interject, if that's the case, if you think this was staged, Will Smith needs to win an Oscar for his apology. He needs to win an Oscar for that.
He had just won that Oscar, so obviously, he's a highly A-lister.
Because that apology, he needs an Oscar for that alone. Just the apology. He needs to win next year's Oscar for that.
But Dynas, it's Will Smith, so it's not. This is not. And I hate to hog up your thing, but yeah, it's Will Smith, so I wouldn't expect anything less. He's an A-list actor for a reason. But in just their relationship dynamics, I think the 2 callers ago touched upon it. They have a weird, funky, non-monogamous relationship. Even they've had multiple interviews where basically they mention some points that once they act out roles, they get turned on by each other acting out certain roles, basically. So they've had a multitude of different exposés as far as their dynamics and relationships that aren't the norm, and they're in a different stratosphere than, say, us regular people. I know it sounds far-fetched what I'm saying, but that's
this is your opinion. But let me ask you something, sir, and for you, Prince, and for the audience, and particularly the men and things. Okay, you go out there and man make a joke, and you can't, obviously you don't find it very funny at all. And then you walk up stage. I don't think, it could have been, maybe I'm going to go in this is going to be a premeditated slap, right? A premeditated slap, or it could have been once the man went up on the stage, and maybe Chris looked at him like that little smile that he gives that he's known for, and maybe that just set off a instantaneous reaction. But stage and go back and sit down and still talking noise, and this my wife, that don't look like it was staged to me at all. I mean, I think the man at that moment just lost control. I mean, I just think he went black with rage.
Let me ask you this then: why didn't he? I would have found his actions more believable if there wasn't that delay, because no one saw the interaction between Jada and him off camera when it cycled back to Chris. So had his reaction, because you mentioned a good point, and I want us to channel that. If I'm gonna
one second, sorry to interrupt, guys. I want women to call in, please. I want to hear the opinion of women. So links in the chat room. Some of the fellas are in the chat room waiting.
I'm female.
You guys out because I want a woman to come on and give their opinion. LaShawn, are you a woman?
Yes,
RP was
okay, perfect. LaShawn, perfect.
We both are.
RP, are you a woman?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. All right, so Pan African we'll go ahead and entertain the conspiracy theory a little bit longer. about another minute. Then I want to hear. I want to hear from
Oh,
the
I
women.
won't even take a minute, brother. Give me 2 more seconds. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I see what you want to try to do here, so I'm on board with that. But no, brother Fitzgerald. I was just simply saying that you made a good point about laughter to be a way to diffuse the initial rage, right? The optics doesn't look good because within moments, no one saw what happened between him and Jada off camera, and then when moments he charged up stage because he was gonna hit him. He wasn't gonna charge up stage to give him a hug. He was already gonna go up there and hit him. So to me, the sequence of events don't add up. And it would have been more believable to me if his first reaction was to come up stage after the joke. Because Chris Rock didn't say anything else beyond that. He said, oh, okay, this is the reason for the joke. He didn't add more fuel to the gasoline. That's all I'm saying.
Because he saw Will losing control. Listen, sir, what's your first name?
It's Hakeem.
Mr. Hakeem. Okay, that's great. I don't like dealing all these code words and everything. Hey, listen, you sound like a mild mannered brother. You sound like actually someone that can come over to the house and you and Dinas, we have a good meal, great conversation, everything like that. And let's just say we have some history and and it's good history. And and all of a sudden, a joke is being made, and I go and I come up and man act like I'm gonna shake your hand and stuff like that, and I just slap you right across the mouth. I expect to be rolling on the floor because I have probably done one of the most grievous things another man can do. Another man slapped you in the mouth with an open hand. Okay. Now, and let's just say Dinas, let's just say Dinas was separated, or let's just say I took that but I get to promise whether it be me or whether it be Prince Amir. When you call off to the side, man, what the hell did you let that cat do that for? I mean, that's what I think. I mean, and it's all speculation, but the bottom line, regardless of what day, Mr. Smith lost control.
Yeah, and Fitzgerald, not to cut off, Pan Afro Can-Am, I appreciate it. And then guys, men in the chat room, I want women to call in. So stop. I'm putting you guys out for a reason. So
I'll drop off.
I want the women to call in. But hey, brother, I appreciate you calling in. But go ahead and finish your statement, Fitzgerald, and we'll pass it to Miss RP.
Definitely. Let Miss RP talk right now.
All right, go ahead, Miss RP.
Thank you so much. Hotep, everyone. Peace and love and light. I want to slow this down a pace or two to get into something that I guess is slightly esoteric. So you might say it's a conspiracy theory. I think it's conspiracy probability in the sense that what I'm trying to say is basically personally, I think that it was staged. There's so many things that are contradictory to when a person is assaulted on camera in real life that didn't occur in what I saw on video. And not only that, but this is what I really wanted to say. Let's zoom out into a broad perspective per view of the recent activities of Black people, both male and female, in front of the world eyes.
Don't let you do that.
Wait, no, please.
Hold on, we're talking about Mr. Smith and Mr. Rock.
But you're not understanding why.
Let her finish.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
Because the point I'm about to make is strong, and the people need to hear this. Because right now, it's Black people that's being made to look buffoonish. We're being made to look amoral. We're being made to look as though we have no control over our impulses, whether it be fighting, whether it be sexual, whether it be intellectual. We have so much going on that at this point, we're being made into a joke for one reason or another. And that's the part that disturbs me. Uh, it may not have been staged, may not have been. I don't know. I'm still learning. But what I will say, no, it wasn't appropriate because he didn't strike him. He didn't hit him. He said something that his wife didn't like. That doesn't mean you go on stage and you assault someone. And then now, if he does something in retaliation to him, so now is Chris Rock wrong? You know what I'm saying? Violence begets violence, ultimately. So can we all agree with that? Not only that, but he's defending a woman that I think we all can say aired her dirty laundry, her dirty underwear, panties, whatever, and her sexual exploits for the world. So this family has issues. So nobody needs to be defended at this point if it is real, but Chris Rock.
Very good. Very good point. Very good point.
All right, Miss Smith, go ahead, Miss Smith. Unmute yourself.
Hey, greetings, everyone. The first thing that I'd like to say is that one thing, I do not think it was staged. But even if it was staged, I think it's a teachable moment for men, young men, and boys. Because I have a son, and I had a conversation with him about that episode, staged or unstaged. I don't care. It was wrong. I'm just going to be on the record. And as much, we have a lot of a school of thought that he was defending his woman, and his woman was disrespected. But all due aside, even myself, I didn't even know. I just thought that was just one of her, these actors and actresses, they go through these different looks. I never even knew anything about her medical condition, literally. And, it wasn't insulting to me because I literally didn't know she had a condition. And I literally thought maybe she was going to take a role in G.I. Joe Jane 2.0. She's an actor. But I think we also have to think about when you talk about the disrespect to Will and his family, let's reverse that. Him coming up there cold clocking him. What about the disrespect to Chris Rock's family, his children? Come on now. And what Will did is he basically just turned the Oscars into the Jerry Springer show.
Agreed.
Excuse me.
Agreed.
And let me interject, LaShawn. This is the same Oscars that Black entertainers have been crying about more representation, making sure they have more representation for the past 5 years. Oscars so white.
Right. So it's almost like, with those accusations and historical behaviors of the Oscars, it's almost like, okay, this is what you do. You know what I mean? When you get out here. But to Mr. Fitzgerald, he pointed out, listen, there's a whole long laundry list of actors who did not behave in that manner, okay, and had the proper decorum. But I also kind of think what we witnessed, I think that we witnessed Will Smith actually crying out. He's crying out. I believe he's trapped within some serious wickedness and toxicity in that relationship. And I usually don't judge people's relationship, but something is really wrong with that picture. Something is wrong when you are literally building revenue streams around your bedroom. To me, that is so disrespectful as a woman. I would never do that to my husband. And then you parade around like everything is open marriage, open relationship. And now you want to demand respect? Now you want respect? When you opened yourself up to this, your life, your husband, your marriage? No, once that wickedness is out the gate, you can't reel it in. And here's where I think this is going, and I don't know, speculation. The next thing we're going to see is Jada is going to be accusing him of smacking the hell out of her. And what she's going to do...
LaShawn, I agree with you.
Wow.
Listen, this is the setup. This is a setup. I'm a woman. I am a woman. I feel it in a spiritual way. The woman is wicked. And next thing you know, she's going to use this incident as justification. He's out of control. Look how they do us. He's the angry black man. He done walked in front of the world and smacked another black man. Okay? And nobody has ever been interested in their personal life. This is, I don't believe it's staged, but staged or unstaged, I think it's good because guess what? Here's a woman's perspective. We're having an opportunity to have a conversation like that. And if I was his wife, if I was Jada, we would be in our bedroom having I would not be pleased with my husband. I literally would not be pleased with my husband. I would not allow him, if I loved him, I would not allow him to humiliate himself and to humiliate our Black people. We are stronger. We are tougher. We know. Right. I really direct a lot of this as her. I would never allow, I would have took that hand right behind that look. When I would have grabbed his hand, I would have said, baby, no, come on, baby. We know who we are. We know who we are. That is what a woman does. A woman understands male energy. If you are a good woman, you are protecting him. And a way to protect your man is to prevent him from doing idiotic things like that. You put us on the world stage as being irrational, uncontrollable, uncouth, no decorum, out of order, and broken.
But here's the thing, real quick.
Well, one second, RP. I just want to make sure we let Trina Jackson. Trina, I see you. Go ahead, unmute yourself, and then Jahari. Then we'll let you guys talk. But I want to make sure the other women go on. Go ahead, Trina. You got to unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say that this whole incident was real. I don't think it was staged, but I think what happened was when he made that joke, I think all the stuff that was said about him and his wife, the entanglement situation, I think all that brought back a bunch of memories, and it angered him, and it just, because they've been taking jabs at him for the longest of Will and Jada. So I think he was at his breaking point. He was like, you know what? No more of this. You're not gonna be talking about me or my wife, and you doggone sure ain't gonna disrespect my wife. He just went up there, socked him, and he went back and cussed him out, saying, "Keep your wife's name out of my mouth." And it just escalated. I think he was at his breaking point. I don't think what he did was right, of course. I don't agree with what he did. He was just at his breaking point. That's a breaking point right there. That's it.
I just feel like there's something.
Well, let Jahari, because Jahari's been patiently waiting, and then I want Fitzgerald to that's our guest. But go ahead, Jahari.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Jahari. Oh,
Hi.
Jahari, you from the UK? You from the UK?
Yes, I'm from the UK, but
listen, I've been watching Top Boy. What's up, bro? What's up, bro?
Hello, up, bro? Yeah.
You got the food. You got the food.
Okay.
Wait.
All right. I'm glad you love this. I'm glad you love Top Boy. Okay, so let me clear up a few things. First of all, I work in production. I live in California. Some of my clients was at the show. It wasn't staged. It was actually quite horrifying for people to watch, and that's why the break came through so quickly. If you looked at it per the video, Will was laughing until he turned around and looked at Jada, and Jada was not laughing, and that's when it all went in another direction. Now, Jada, really, to me personally, if that was my husband, I would have pulled him back. I wouldn't have let him. Being that he was nominated for an Oscar, I would not have allowed him to go up on the stage to do anything. So it wasn't staged. It wasn't staged at all. My friend is a PR for some of those actors, and she said it wasn't staged. They were all in shock. And it changed the whole energy of the room. Like everything stood still when that happened. And Chris Rock and look, the whole premise of the Academy Awards is built on comedy. They have comedians host it every year. And Ricky Gervais, he said, like a lot of those comedians have said worse than that. And the joke, the G.I. Joe joke was in reflection to Demi Moore. She came dressed with bald head and she was dressed in a costume. So that was the whole premise of the joke. It was just a joke that went horribly wrong. And I understand that Will was in his emotions, but go up and slap another guy, that wasn't the move. So that's my take on it.
I'm not gonna, again, I'll say this. I'm still learning, but I've taken time to specialize in understanding the system of racism, white supremacy, and they are damn good at setting up diversions. So this is what I want to say, because I really want to give other people a chance to talk. And thank you, Prince Amir and Mr. Stevens, and to the ladies and the gentlemen that were on this line. Um, how convenient. How convenient. Look at what's going on, not only among ourselves, but in the world. We have gas prices going up. Someone mentioned the city in Tennessee that's about to be hostilely taken over. And now, conveniently, last week it was Kanye and his wife and their drama. You know, a few years ago it was Beyonce and Jay-Z, least we forget. They always have these sort of situations that ironically and conveniently come up when some stuff is about to go down. So I want to advocate to Black people to keep your eyes on what's really important, because Will and Jada, whether their relationship is
RP, if
on
I
the
can
rocks or
interject,
whatever.
RP, not to interrupt you, RP, but I'm gonna interject too. If you notice, also on top of that, they're making the black man look like the brute. Now you got Kamala Harris, you got the new,
Agreed, and that's why I said it's
now you got the new the
Supreme Court
secondary
justice.
judge, extreme
That's
justice. He has a white man,
that,
and
but
they're right.
that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying there's a flip to all this. If you understand racism, you're gonna understand everything is a flip. So, and a balance. On one hand, we just had this past week a Black woman get confirmed right to the Supreme Court, and now you have a Black man on the flip side to balance it out in a negative way, right? He goes on stage and acts a fool. So we have to pay attention to, because these are some psyoptic signals and programming that we receiving right now. And there's some other stuff that's more important that we are being. This is mother flood fucking. It's a flare. Is what I'm trying to say, with peace and love. I don't want to hog it. I'm getting emotional because racism, white supremacy is the biggest problem we got, and they will use our own people. They went from using blackface, then they started using Black people, and now they're making these actors and these entertainers fake real life events to make it look as though things are happening that's not, because they need us tied to these phones and these shows and these whatever, because real life is really about to start sucking. And
I,
I'll end my turn. Thank you.
I agree. I agree with what the lady's saying, but they boycott that show so many years ago, and then all of a sudden they're back sitting in front row. Like, you have to pick your battles, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And I think that it would have been more, it would have made more sense if Will would have taken him to the back and dealt with him, you know, on a different level, instead of going and smacking him. I actually thought that he was going to go out there and they were going to go back and forth and roast each other. I had no idea that he was going to go out there and smack Chris Rock, because in that business, they're friends, they're comedians first and then actors. You know what I mean? So it was weird to see that play out. So, and Jada's put his business out in Front Street for years. So it's a shame, really.
Go ahead, Fitzgerald. What are your thoughts, Fitzgerald? And guys, I want the women to call in. Links in the chat room. I like the women to call in. I still don't think you're staged, but I do understand where she's coming from. Because Fitzgerald, just last week when we had the new Supreme Court judge nominated, they had a picture of her with her white Snow King kissing and embracing. Now they got a Black man charging the stage assaulting another Black man. It's not staged. I know it's not staged, but these people always had an agenda, and they use the media to push this agenda, Fitzgerald.
Absolutely. I agree with that, Dinus. They always use us as a scapegoat for the BS. And we're always at the front. Look, now it's front row news. You know what I mean? Nobody will talk about the fact that he's won that Oscar now. It will be that he smacked Chris Rock. And that's all it's going to be about now.
Go ahead, Fitzgerald.
I have a comment.
Well, let Fitzgerald, you want to say something, Fitzgerald?
No, I yield my time to the person that said she has a comment. I want to hear it.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I definitely believe that racism and white supremacy is real, but I think in this case, not unless Will actively and made a decision um, uh, to actively participate in this bad behavior. I don't think racism and white supremacy made him walk on that stage and slap that man. What I really believe is this is demonic manipulation masked as love and marriage. And the man is under a spell. And that's just what I believe. And it's masked as love. He said it with his own words. You do crazy things when you're in love. That means you're under some sort of manipulation or a spell. So when do you ground yourself? When do you root yourself? When do you come back to reality? So does this mean that you can do anything in the name of love? This is a very, very dangerous path that we're looking at.
That was one of my points when the opening when I first got on. I said, it's dangerous to be it's just dangerous to be that in love with someone who doesn't love you back. I mean, I don't prescribe it at all. But one thing I will say, Dinaz, out of all the shows I've listened to you, and and I've been a part of many, not taking anything away from, but I like the balance on this. I like the female perspective. I like the male perspective. As this male, the cat lost control. Now, with Miss Smith alluding to the fact that mind control, yeah, it's real. Linguistic program, it's very real. I mean, that's very real. I mean, I believe it was the Soviet Union and Russians that really perfected that. And there's a movie that that you guys can reference back called The Manchurian Candidate, and it talks about how powerful mind control is. And I know certain things out there are going on, but let me ask this to the audience, both men and women. Okay, these two individuals, Mr. Rock and Mr. Smith, they're not trying to break in the industry. They are alpha, apex predator, alpha leaders of their respective field. They made it. I mean, they have they can call what shows they want. They can. It's not like they're trying to break in the industry, and they've been a part of the industry a long time. Someone that high up would allude to such a childish tactics like that to say staged. I'm not now. Miss RP got me thinking about, yeah, well, maybe it could be, but I still in my heart of hearts, I don't believe it was. But what do they stand to gain from that? It's nothing but down. You don't think they know about the Hollywood establishment and how they portray Black people? You don't think they've seen that from the previous Oscars, or whether Denzel won it? He won it for playing a gangster in Lorenzo on Training Day. Halle Berry won it for being a wife who cheats on her husband with some white cat, so she got an Oscar for degenerate roles. And they got that Oscar. So you don't think that those guys are seeing this, and they should know exactly, even more so than us on the outside, exactly how these guys play towards Black people? And if so, what would they have to gain on their level of playing into that? I mean, you don't think they understand that there are young Black girls and boys from all over the world looking at them, admiring them for their craft, even some other races admiring them for their craft, and you don't think that they said, like, okay, so I'm being watched, I'm being looked at, so why would I lower myself down to
they don't care, for sure. They don't care. For sure. I was trying to break into the industry. I was trying to break into that industry.
Maybe it's my country thinking. My bringing ain't nothing wrong with country thinking. Actually think pretty dang good. You ask me. But maybe it's my way of looking at things. Why? What do they have to gain for going at such a low place on their level? Why? They don't have nothing to prove. They could tell an agent, I ain't taking this. This is the amount of money I want. I want this part of the receipt. They are at the top of their game. So why put an image out like that when you already know You know, what's called these guys? Will's in his 50s. I don't know if Mr. Rock is close to that, but why? What's the game? But everything to lose, the image, your people, you're tearing up. Why? I don't get it. Someone help me understand, both male or female. I truly don't get it.
Go ahead, Soul Rostar. Go ahead. Soul Rostar, go ahead.
Thanks so much. Greetings, everyone. Respect. Yeah, I think what they have to gain is just the same as, what they've been doing. All these roles, we have a lot of these roles, like Will's first role. That role did not bring up our people. That was a fucked up role. Okay, and everyone knows that. A lot of these celebrities, they bring them up, they set them up to knock them down, and a lot of the roles they play are degenerate. We look at the media, and our humans learn by copying. So we look at our examples and we copy the behavior that we see. All these degenerate roles is what they're setting up for us to look to. And all the people like Bill Cosby, for example, they set him up. Everyone looked to him as the perfect example. Oh, there's a good Black man. And then what happened to him? And so I think that all these stars, the same thing. They set him up to knock him down on purpose, as the other sister was saying, is a role in white supremacy to put down our people. And that's why I really believe it was staged. And thanks, everyone.
I don't think white supremacy had anything to do with this.
I don't either.
I really don't.
I don't either. We blame white supremacy on everything, but so I don't either. But go ahead.
But I have to leave a family, and thank you is the first time I actually did this. But I would like to leave on a funny point, a point, and a serious point. The serious point, I believe that Denzel Washington said something very profound, of which I'm immediately teaching my son, and I'm going to have it as one of my quotes. He says, at your highest moment, that's when the devil strikes.
Exactly.
I thought that was very profound. That's why I say this is wonderful, staged or unstaged. It's a teachable moment. And I really feel for my Black brothers and boys with this. I have more love and I feel I need to really go in on what this means so they can understand when they're reading the temperature and they're looking at nuances and social activities, what it means, right? You always have the underlying messages. And so that is what I'm going to leave my son with. When he's at his highest moment, that's when your guard needs to be higher, because that's when the devil is going to strike the hardest. And then I'm going to leave with what I thought about on a funny note, is that this is also going to impact the comedic industry. I mean, they may have to start demanding hazardous pay. It may not be a safe job anymore. You take a joke, you tell a joke, and you may have to take a jab, or you get clocked. So that's another thing in terms of impact. You literally impacted that industry, Will Smith. So you have to really think of things all the way through, and then not only the way that you reflected your people. And so I will end with that, and thank you for your time, and I'll just listen to any commentary from there.
We appreciate you joining. Thank you.
Can I make a comment?
Go ahead.
Or maybe ask a question. If it was Ricky Gervais up there and he made that joke, would Will have gone up there and smacked a white man? You know what I mean?
Of course not.
Exactly. And this is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So we have to control our emotions. Like if we're gonna be, because that show is not for us. Like we know that. We've known that for years. But if we're gonna go there and then act out the way that we'll act out, then there it is right there. It didn't do him any good. So for me personally, I like I said, I had people that were there at the show. They said it wasn't staged. They were in shock, and that's all I got on that. And I'm for my people. You know what I'm saying? I really am, and I was actually sad that it happened like that. And that's everywhere now. So you can't take it back, and we have to think about our families, like that the other two ladies said. We have to look at the bigger picture. It's not just about them being actors and comedians. It's about now everybody knows your family business. And when you put yourself out there like that, this is what you're going to get. So I don't know. That's my take on it. All right, Dinus, I'm going to I can stay, but if you have other people that want to come on, I'll jump on.
We got to do like a whole separate show just on Black Hollywood.
Of course we can. Of course we could definitely take a whole separate show. And Dinus,
oh man, we got to. I mean, we're getting ideas
we got
to do a whole separate show on that.
But the bottom line is that man was responsible for his actions. I gives not a 2 cents to care about what white supremacists like this or the devil made to do this. Hell, I'm of the opinion that the devil get blamed for a lot of stuff he don't do. But he'll take the credit. I mean, where does the line come in that you have to have self-control and discipline? Where does that come in, or where does that not become a viable thing that a man is responsible for his actions? To say if with a man of that caliber, a man of that intelligence, and men in general, period, and women in general, period, is there any time that you go through your head and like, okay, if this, then this? If I go down this road, then this? Is there anything? Is there a cooling down period sometime? Or like, okay, he deserves that. Man, I'm glad you came on, brother. Hey, how you doing, Brandon?
Hello, Brandon.
So, is there anything that would take responsibility and look at and I know Brandon will articulate it much better than I am. When does it come like it's your fault? It's that you are responsible. The decision was yours to make. I mean, nobody tied a rope on your hand and pulled Chris's face and just pulled it over. You just slap taste out mouth. Nobody caused you to lose that type of credibility that you have spent years working up. You have come through so many things. Nobody is tying you down to a clearly toxic relationship that's killing you and making you do not making you. You choose to allow it to lead you. But the fact of the matter is of the things that we're looking at, if we could say, well, his wife or this, a white spirit, that man did a major trespass on Mr. Rock. He lost control, and by losing control, that would have been any normal other person like that. They would have been fired. They would have been in jail for assault. They would have been called around for bail money. And this guy shouldn't be getting in the past. And actually, he's held at a much higher standard in my eyes because so many people, black, white, whatever, are really looking at this man and to them, he's a role model. He is someone that they really look up to. So you like it, and it still doesn't click quite yet. I hear the other things, I hear the mind control, but it still doesn't click. What does he have to gain? He is at the top of his game. Chris Rock is at the top of his game. Someone wrote in there, Chris Rock is almost 60. Okay, Chris, kudos, respect to him the way he handled it. Absolutely kudos. That's like that time when do a comparison. Not trying to drag names in, but it just going to accentuate my point. That elevator scene when Beyonce's sister jumped all and attacked Jay-Z, and Jay-Z just stood there cool and everything like that. He could have lashed out, but he didn't, because I'm willing to bet that man thought in his mind, there's going to be a major fallout if I strike back. He controlled himself. And
now, Fitzgerald, I want to, if I can interject, look at Jay-Z's elevator incident, and do you remember the football player Ray Rice?
Well, okay, let's look at those incidents. Ray
lost everything.
He lost everything. That was a multi-millionaire. He lost everything. He was considered toxic by the field. He lost everything. I don't think that's going to go in there. Brandon, talk to me, man. You know what? Help me to understand, because sometimes I just draw a blank on subjects that we talk about it, because to me it just doesn't make logical sense, and things have to make sense to me in order for my mind to process it. What am I missing, man?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so it all makes perfect sense. I don't like what Denzel said, because Denzel is full of shit. It ain't no devil come to knock you down at your highest moment. You got a demon up in your house named Jada Pinkett Smith, and you need to get that hoe up out of there, because she got you acting. Sorry, she got you acting out of character. When you start acting, when someone has you acting like you not you, that means you're under demonic possession. If you see her face, her energy. I got 5 sisters. I know how women can be. Women love, there is nothing more that a woman loves to see 2 men at each other's throat over them. Okay? I know that for a fact. I've been married 14 years. Don't ever strike another man on behalf of some woman. I don't care if she is your wife, because if she was worth it, she would have never cheated on you. She would have never embarrassed you and shamed you in front of everybody. She's a dog. That's it. Put her in the backyard. She's still going to come and do whatever you say, because that's how a lot of women are. They don't start doing what you say until they realize you don't want them no more.
But he chooses to stay with him, Mr. Brandon. So I'm blaming him more so. That's on him.
So if you're going to stay with her, that means you're undertaking the monumental task of living in shame as a cuckold and not lashing out. Okay. Clearly, he's not able to handle that, so he needs to get rid of her. Will Smith should have been arrested for assaulting Chris Rock that night, and he should be a pariah in our community for attacking another black man in public forum like that. How dare you hypocrites? I'm talking to the audience. How dare you hypocrites, when I get on this channel and I'm going in on another black man about something legitimate, Brandon, you're harsh. Brandon's delivery. But when Will Smith attack another black man at the Oscars over a joke, oh, we understand. This is the problem with black people. We double-minded and we're hypocrites. We trying to go have it both ways, and you can't have it both ways. Either there's going to be a code or there ain't going to be no code, and I'm going to just go around knocking people out, because what y'all telling me is that's acceptable as long as you're of a certain status, and that proves to me that you think that you're worthless. You think I'm worthless, because when I do it, it's a problem, but when the Hollywood elitist does it, it's not a problem. In my mind, what I was raised to believe is that people who are rich carry themselves with more class. They don't have the expected reaction to certain phenomena or stimulation. Will Smith got a drinking problem, for one. Eyes always glossed over. You could see it. It's not even a secret. Jada Pinkett is trying to tear Will Smith down out of jealousy due to her failed acting career, and she is relishing the opportunity. Now she's going to be on Red Table Talk. Jada, what were you thinking about that? And Will Smith is capitulating and perpetuating all that crap she's trying to do, because he has a Jezebel. Do you guys remember in the Bible, King Ahaz, or Ahaz, I think, or Ahab, or whatever his name is? The guy was married to a woman named Jezebel. The woman told him, oh, you know what you should do? You should go hunt down all the prophets of the Most High and kill them. They hadn't done any crime. Those men were innocent, just God-fearing dudes who, it's like somebody saying, go kill all the pastors at the churches around LA. You would hear that and think, that's ridiculous. It makes no sense. What have they done? Well, they've done a lot, but they don't deserve that. That's essentially what Jezebel told her husband to do. And you know what this dude did because he was a cuck? He went and did it. He started putting people to death just at the suggestion of his wife, because that's what she wanted, and he wanted to spoil her. Men have committed the greatest atrocities of human existence behind women. Let me tell you that first. Look at the Trojan War. Look at all that stuff. That stuff, not that is like really real or anything, but what I'm saying is that stuff is based on love of a woman. And that was to show men, if a man with power get too caught up in a woman, he can do some pretty horrible things. That's why everything has to be measured. A man has to look at his wife and know who she really is, not who she projects herself to be. I know who my wife really is, not who she wants everyone else to believe she is. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I make my decisions based on that. Will Smith know his wife, but he thinks he's going to gain her acceptance and her approval by going out and doing hood rat stuff. No,
Sir,
bro.
sir, can I ask both you and Prince Amir a question? Not a really a question, making a statement, then you can go back on this and get back on your thing, because once again, I was I happen to be personal friend with a very, very successful high six-figure earning corporate attorney. Okay, and he made the statement to me just this morning. He said, you know what, I lost all respect for Will Smith. I lost respect for him, the way he handled that. Now, this is a man who, was prominent, has a lot of responsibility and a lot of people under his leadership. But even he saw that as a major breakdown. And so would you say, like, men like that, men like me, and look at this cat different because he should have controlled himself, or that's just part of being a man?
No, you're totally right. I lost all respect for Will Smith. I ain't gonna watch no more of his movies. And everybody keeps saying, Brandon, you wouldn't body a dude for your woman. And if someone insults her, listen, bro, if I go to the Laugh Factory and I sit in the front row and a comedian start cracking jokes on my wife, I know what I came for. I know everybody gets roasted at the Oscars. That's the way it is. To sit up here, see, and this is a part of the excuse making that is automatically compartmentalized in Black folks' mind. We always got to try to conflate something. We got to turn something into something else. There has never been an Oscars where people in the audience didn't get roasted. That's why they make it a point to hire a comedian. There was one white comedian who called everybody pedophiles. Did you see people running up there fighting them? No. Only Will gets to do that. And that's acceptable in Black people mind, because a lot of us live in dysfunction and we wonder why we on here watching Kevin Samuels all the time. It ain't even so much as the other person, it's us, our reaction to what the other person is doing.
Real quick, I just want to say before I go that the joke wasn't funny, but it wasn't so bad. It wasn't as bad as what Jada did. Come on, Jada's the one who's disrespected Will more than anybody else, and everybody knows it, so it just doesn't fit. Thanks, everybody.
Who's talking? Soul Rastar?
So Rasta.
So you have a first name, my lady?
I go by Soul.
Okay, that's on your birth certificate. Okay, well, I call you Soul then. Listen, how in the world did you, John, as you know, I don't like code names. How did this turn about what what Jada was doing and stuff? We're talking about Smith. What we're talking strictly about.
I'm saying that if he got so upset over a joke, but he didn't get so upset over what his wife has been doing to him. So I just can't take it seriously. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that joke was nothing. That joke was nothing. It wasn't funny. He didn't really roast her that bad at all. It was nothing. Everyone in this world knows that Will and Jada, like, I never paid attention to that entanglement shit because I don't give a F about their life. It's not my business. That's their business. They shouldn't be talking to us about their personal business.
Yes, ma'am.
But everyone knows about it, and we all know that what Jada did to Will was worse than that joke. So Jada deserves a big smack, way worse than Chris Rock, and everybody knows it.
But my lady,
Jada Smith.
I know you're just saying, but you're off topic. You're off the point.
All this is connected.
Off topic. I'm saying Will hit Chris. He got offended about that. But everyone's watching. This is Oscars. I ain't watching, but I saw the clip right after. But everyone knows while they're looking at it, everyone's thinking, Jada, what she did to Will. And everyone, that's what's behind it. And Will, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I agree, Soulstar. And also, remember, Jada said that she didn't want to be married. You know what I mean? All those years ago, she said she didn't want to be married. After Tupac, she said she didn't want to be married. So, like, all these things play out. And Will is now frustrated beyond belief to have acted out a character like he did on that show. I don't watch the Oscars, you know what I mean? We have clients that go to the Oscars. So I don't watch it, you know what I mean? I don't watch those shows because they're not for us. But to see the clip and him act out a character and have people there that verified that he acted out a character, it's a big thing. So, you know, me personally don't really give a rat's ass about Hollywood like that. I really don't. I'm just working a job, you know what I mean? It happens to be in that industry, but we have to control who we are, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And we have to look at down the road how that's going to affect us. That's the bottom line for us. So, and I see people in the chat saying, "Brit, shut up," and all of that. Yes, I was born in the UK. Yes, I'm aware of that. Thank you.
Well, you're absolutely right. That's what you just said is the way that the show was originally supposed to be. You know, as far as where you're keeping it with that. So yes, and you know, it's not a matter of me being mad or anything. You know, I just like things to stay on the subject that what they're discussing these things because Will has made the choice to be where he is. Why, I don't know. Actually, it's none of my business. But if you have made these choices, get ready for these type of fallouts.
Can I also say that if Chris had retaliated, that would have been a whole different situation. You know what I mean? So let's be clear on that. You know, he kept his composure, you know, for the sake of, I don't know, because Chris Rock is known for retaliating in some situations. So I was really surprised that he didn't actually swing back. But you know, it is what it is, and there it is now.
Chris Rock is in a different position in his career. His career is on the downturn, and he's trying to get back into Hollywood after his divorce. So there was no way he was going to be able to retaliate on Will because he had too much at stake. Will is worth $350 million. Chris Rock worth like $60 million, and most of that's probably debt. You know what I'm saying? So I understand. But let me tell you this: did Will Smith go after Rebel Wilson when she cracked the joke on him and Jada Pinkett? Right? Like when she talked about him pretending to be okay with his wife sleeping with other men, like, oh, haha, that was a joke. She said that publicly. So why Will didn't go slap her up? You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. Why didn't Jada check her at the door for what she said? And when it all comes down to it, Chris Rock was low hanging fruit. He's ex-Hollywood elite. He used to be one of the big time people in Hollywood. He is no longer, and Will attacked him. Had that been, somebody said last night on my show, if he wouldn't have did that to Billy Crystal, and they're right. He wouldn't have done that to what's the dude's name? The one director, I forgot his name. But he wouldn't have did that to he wouldn't have did that to Dave Chappelle. No. Because Dave Chappelle is too famous. So he just went after a little low-hanging comedic guy, and we hear the name Chris Rock. Chris Rock is famous to black people. You know what I'm saying? The average young kid don't know who Chris Rock is. Everybody know who Will Smith is. Will Smith has an issue in his home and the issues with his wife. He needs to address that issue and solve it with his wife before he go outside in public because he can't control himself. Instead of handling the issue, he chooses to go around and project that issue on other people and fake the funk and then get mad. We don't know Will. We don't know Jada. We don't know what personal conversations they have. But the fact, listen, I asked my wife, what would you have done if I was like, I'm gonna go up and punch Chris Rock for insulting you? My wife said, I would have said, she would have said, sit your ass down. You're not about to embarrass us. The fact that Jada Smith sat there smirking and all that, she loves watching Will make a fool out of himself. And somebody asked me, oh, you wouldn't get a body for your wife? Listen, hell no. Because when I'm in jail doing life, my wife gonna be out there getting another dude laid up for him. I'm telling you, love is worth a lot. Love is not worth assaulting nobody, and love is not worth killing nobody. Now, if you defending your wife from an aggressor or somebody who's trying to hurt her, that's one thing. Words they can hurt, but he wasn't hurting Jada. He was a comedian doing his job. You're about to win a damn Oscar. You know, you should be able to take a little joke. And that's kind of why the jokes are aimed at the people who are more successful. Because Chris Rock knows everyone who's going to win before the night is over. But for you to lower yourself down on a big night like that, and you are a rarity, you are like a unicorn. There's only a few black men, I think one or two, uh, 2 to 3, who have ever won an Oscar for Best Actor. You won one and gonna go shame yourself like that. Jada has to go. We'll need to get rid of Jada and go get him another girlfriend.
But can I just add something, Brandon? Chris Rock is not low hanging fruit. They don't give people that are low hanging fruit to host the Oscars. You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So he might not be in the realm of Will Smith, but he's not low hanging fruit. He's quite up there in the business still. He might not have the money, but he's still up there in the business.
Do you think he would have attacked Dave Chappelle?
You know what? I can't even say. No,
I doubt
it.
know he would have never touched Dave Chappelle because Dave Chappelle
let's stick to what we're talking about here. We're not talking about him swinging at another comedian. We're talking about, look, it was a joke. He laughed until he looked at Jada, you know what I mean, and then went up and swung at another guy. See, Jada, if she was like, personally, like you said before, if that was your wife would have told you to sit down. She wouldn't have allowed you to go out there and humiliate everybody in the family based on that. A joke. It was a joke. And I understand the alopecia thing. I understand. But if you listen to the joke, and everyone gets roasted on that show. It's the premise of the show. That's why they choose comedians to host it, to keep the hype up.
Will's house has been out of order for a lot of years. If you look at his kids, you look at the stuff his wife is doing, you look at the stuff he's permitting. As a man, he failed his family a long time ago. Now, all of a sudden, he's trying to get retribution at the Oscars by putting on a pony show. The Lord has hired me to protect. The Lord ain't never chose nobody who ain't got control over their emotions. I guarantee you that. Look, I'll give you an example. In the Bible, there's this guy. He's a prophet. His name is Hosea. Hosea's wife used to always cheat on him. Hosea went to the Lord and was like, my wife is unfaithful. She's always cheating on me. I want to divorce her. The Lord said, nah, you're going to stay with her because the way she's cheating on you is the way you Israelites, it's the same feeling as when the Israelites cheat on me. That's what the Most High said, right? That guy, but guess what? Did Hosea go kill his wife or go around shooting people because his wife was cheating? No. He was given that burden because he had the emotional control to handle it and use it as something, as a force for good, which is what Will Smith pretended to do. Oh, I'm gonna take the high ground and all that. He did that for the cameras and the photo. As soon as you get at the Oscar show, emotions are high, right? Boy, you better get your narrow ass up off that stage trying to punch somebody. I'm telling you, he should have been arrested. He should get stripped of his Oscar at the minimum. Because if I was Chris Rock, I don't even want to tell you what I would have did to that dude. And then it would have been worse. Chris Rock is the hero in this situation for not bringing further shame on our people than Will Smith already did. Will Smith don't give a damn about nobody black. Will Smith don't. I'm telling you that right now. Will Smith care about him. He didn't even apologize to Chris Rock. When I listened to that thing, it was a half-ass apology, and he apologized to the Academy. You know, so screw him.
All right, go ahead. African Rattle, go ahead.
Hey, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're here. You just go ahead.
Yeah, so I have 3 points, 3 brief points to say. I wanted to say, like, number one, I don't believe Chris Rock would have slapped a white man by any standard.
You mean Will Smith? You mean Will Smith?
Sorry, Will Smith. I don't believe he would have because he knows the risks. He knows what he can't do. So, number two, I agree with Jahari, but you have to understand something. Some women are just ghetto. Some women love a man who can, to gas up a man to go slap another man or something like that. Jada looks to me like that kind of woman. She looks to me like the kind of woman who will tell a man, go up there, do something crazy, because she was with Tupac. You have to understand that's Tupac's girl at the end of the day. She's never been into Will. Even if you look at their relationship dynamic, she's never been into Will one day. Number three, I'm not a guy who's into rumors, but there's rumors around that Will might be part of the LGBT, but I'm not sure. So maybe that's something, because you have to ask yourself one question: why would a guy like Will Smith, good-looking man, more money than Jesus, why is he sitting around entertaining Jada's nonsense, and like a man who has no options? He's sitting on millions. He can get any woman he wants. Why is he sitting around entertaining Jada? It doesn't make any sense at all. It's not a power couple. Jada has not achieved anything. She doesn't have the profile that he has. So there's no reason why he should sit there and take her nonsense. There's no reason. So there could be something to the rumor. Something she might have something on him, which makes it look very silly for. And again, maybe if I add something else, we have to address our culture just as black men, like why do we find it so easy to embarrass each other and slap each other? And why is it so easy for us to do that? Why is it so easy for me to walk up to another black man and embarrass him, and I wouldn't do it to a white man? Where else does it happen other than two black men? So there's something about black male culture, celebrity culture, Will Smith being a punk. There's so many angles you can look at it. But anyway, I don't think it was scripted. I think it was just Will being a cuck. That's it. Thanks for letting me on.
No problem. You want to add anything up, Mr. Stevens?
Absolutely not. I'm thoroughly enjoying listening to the panel.
Okay. All right. Josh, go ahead. Josh Maha, go ahead and meet yourself.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Hey, Prince, Mr. Stevens, how you doing?
Hey, Mr. Madam, how you doing?
Good. Yes, I was a little upset to see Will do that, because understand that this was a pivotal moment for Will, knowing that he was going to get that award. But I think if you look at the past 2 years, going back to 2020, really 2019 to now, Will has built up patience and silence on behalf of Jada's disrespect. Because African Rattle made it at the point at the end of the day, Will is not that type of dude for Jada, even though without Will Smith, what is Jenka? She's just Jada Pinkett. That show that she did in the early 90s, and maybe the other movies she did with other A-list actresses. But yeah, I think Will it was built up animosity that he needed to get out. And also somebody alluded to the fact that the beta male blow up. I don't want to keep using that term beta male. I see this with Russell Wilson and Sierra going that path, and also Steph Curry and Aisha. But you can talk about that on another day. When he slapped Chris Rock, he took the anger on the wrong person. Now, I don't think Chris Rock knew about Jada's Appalachia disease. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't think he'll never make an egregious joke.
I don't think anybody knew about it. I mean, Jada's been more vocal about Tupac.
Yeah, and I thought she shaved her head because she was protesting her relationship with Will, if there were ever one. Because remember, she came out 2 years ago, said she screwed August Alsina, which ain't surprising. I mean, Jada Mama, it comes from the fruit, comes from the high tree. So the grandma had to have been a freak too. But also, when she said I wasn't sexually satisfied, this is right after she was open about what her relationship was Tupac. She never was. She wasn't really brief. She was just brief about, oh yeah, I dated Tupac. We was close. That's it. She never got into details, because I don't think she wanted to make Will feel like, yeah, you wasn't my dude. Hey, we are a power couple. Well, you are. It's just I reap the benefits. But yeah, I was shocked, but then I'm not surprised, because like Africa Rattle said, would you do that to a white person? Because the power dynamics will be on that side. But Will should have handled it a different way. You could have asked Chris Rock, hey man, let me talk to you a little something about this little Appalachia. I can't pronounce it. I was good at spelling one time about this disease, bro. But yeah, by doing that, it creates a bad precedent for Will. It shows that, hey, Will let out the anger, but I think he was trying to show Jada, which she's not gonna respect him after this, that you know what, you're my woman at the end of the day. I'm gonna handle this, even though it was a beta blow up. I think that there was that West Philadelphia born and raised coming a moment, but that didn't help. And not only that, we have too many great black men who have been candid. We had Bill Cosby. We saw that whole spectacle that happened. They're still trying to make documentaries about Bill Cosby, digging dirt on great black men who set the foundation. And now they're going to show, well, this is the aggressive black men, even though most Americans don't agree with that shit. I see it going down a bad path. So Will should have controlled himself. But again, anger, frustration, and really being disrespected by your wife, who at the end of the day, without Will Smith, you just have Jada Pinkett from a different world. I mean, he can leave Jada and say, hey, I can go. He can get any woman he wants. Heck, he can even chime in and go out with Margot Robbie. Who Jada's gonna get? Yeah, probably a 26-year-old rapper who's coming to prime just for sexual escapades. If you into that stuff, hey, do you? Do you? Hey, we all got a release, right? But at the end of the day, yeah, I feel for Will, but that wasn't a good look. I would at least talk to Chris. Hey, my wife was not. She felt some type of way because she has a hair loss disease. But again, it was the heat of the moment. But I'm glad he got his Oscar. I mean, but hey, the Dynast. But yeah, man, keep doing your thing. When's your Sierra Leone trip?
We're leaving April 17th.
April 17th. Mr. Fitzgerald Stevens, are you going to the Ivory Coast? I know you say you were going to Ivory Coast sometime in the future. I know that's like your base, Ivory Coast.
Nah, man, I'm just feeling the Ivory Coast a little bit, but now I'm feeling Nairobi, Kenya.
Nairobi? Cool.
Yeah.
I'm setting Rwanda in October. Fortunately not June. I'll go to Dominica in June, but yeah, Rwanda or Ethiopia October. I don't know. I got to look at itinerary. But yeah, man, keep doing your thing. I think this is a new moment now because Africa Diasporic Channel, Dynast's channel, you guys know that this is the new president for Black news, Black topics on economics, travel, and business. Because when Roly Poly Martin mentioned, that's right, Phil Scott, Jason Black, y'all, I'm gonna be in Louisiana. Maybe I'm gonna be in Louisiana eating that crawfish with some hostile with my big ass. Yeah, y'all need to get out there because he's getting that paycheck coming in June. When's the midterms this year? Oh yeah, Roly Poly.
Yeah, this year. Oh yeah, it's this year in November.
Yeah, bring your ass to the poll. Yeah, he's got all y'all fat. Bring FBA to the poll. Yeah, big old fat. Anyway, Roly Poly. But yeah, he's got to get that paycheck. He need to get a trainer too. But y'all have a good day. I'm about to exit out. I'm about to enjoy this lunch that I made here. So, yeah, keep doing your thing, guys.
Thanks for coming in. To the panels, the one who are on here now, and definitely the one who logged off. I would like to get you guys' opinion in the time that we have remaining. Do you think this damages Will Smith's image and career? Will this no big thing? Or you think this is something going to be you think this is going to be something really hanging over him and the group of people that he supposedly represents? What's your opinion on this?
I don't think so.
One second. Let Jahar. Jahari's in Hollywood involved. Jahar, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
That'd be a perfect question for you.
I don't think so. These things have a way of they'll have their time, a few weeks, and then it will be washed over. He apologized to the Academy, which is what they always do. And once, the sad thing is that I'm just speaking on behalf of us as a people. You know what I mean? Even like Denzel and Tyler Perry and all the elite actors that were there, you know what I'm saying, said that he should not have done it. You know what I mean? Like I can't be in Will's shoes and reflect how he felt in that moment. The only thing I can say is that the whole premise of that show has been built for years on jokes. You know what I mean? They only hire comedians to host the show. So if you know that, then you should have just reined it in. You should not have gone up there and smacked Chris Rock. These are comedians that have been, roasting each other for years. It's nothing brand new, and in my view, it will have a week or so, in the press, and then it will be all washed over and everyone will just move on. Jada's done worse to him. And yet still she sat there and let her husband humiliate himself before he's about to get an Oscar. Come on. Like we've got to wake up. And you know, some of the people in the chat are saying, oh, you know, a British Jamaican, a blah, 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 is making a comment. I've been in this business for 32 years.
What does that got to do with anything?
I've been in this business for 32 years and my family are Americans. So, you know, I can give a point of view. It's just a point of view. I have clients that were there and they said that, you know, he should not have done it. They were very shocked. So, and it was out of character for Will to do that. He's never, you know, he smacked a white guy for doing something. But, you know, I mean, come on, like, we just got to rein it in, man. We know our position in this environment. That's all I've got to say on the matter.
I don't think, if I can speak, I don't think there's anything Will would lose because he's in that liberal space. You know, the way Hollywood works is if you're a guy who supports the Republicans or something like that, like a Kanye West, then you'll be canceled, something like that. But if you're in that liberal bubble, you'll be fine. He has a lot of money. He'll be fine. Now, the way people are trying to get on Jahari's case because she's not American, I think
I
think it's uncalled for.
Sorry to cut you, African Rattle. You know, it's interesting that people say that, but everyone else can make a point about every other thing. It doesn't matter. I'm a black woman. You know what I mean? And
that's what I'm saying.
And this is what we're talking about here. Us in Hollywood, it doesn't exist for us. That's the bottom line. And we just need to know that, you know.
With all due respect, good people, I was simply asking, will this hurt his career or not? That's really
no.
That's
no, it won't. No, it won't.
All I'm saying is I don't think it will because he's in that liberal space. If he supported a Republican or like a Kanye West, like Dave Chappelle, who said something that hurts liberals' feelings, he would be in trouble. But I don't think he'll be in trouble. I think maybe they'll talk to him, and then it will be over. That's it. But it's not a good look.
He slapped another black man. If you would have made a comment about the Alphabet Crew or said trans women ain't women, then they would have canceled him. They would have got rid of Will.
But I think
if you would have said trans women ain't women or made a comment about the Alphabet Crew, they would have got rid of it. But violence, amongst black men on black men, that's okay.
But it's a bad look for us as a community.
Let me interject something in, man. This comment is outstanding. And excuse me if I mispronounce your name, Yimanja Dentor. The listener's response was no, it damages ours.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Exactly.
That's what I was saying.
It's power of media propaganda, Fitzgerald.
That's what I was saying because,
like I said, Fitzgerald, there's a reason why. Again, Kamala Harris, the new Supreme Court judge, they show pictures of them, black women, Kamala, black or whatever. But the other lady, black woman, hugged up, kissed up with her white Snow King. And they got to paint Kanye West. Now Will Smith as these angry black men who are out of control.
Yeah.
So listen, if you want peace, get you a Snow King, and we'll reward you like the new Supreme Court judges. I'm dead serious. I'm serious.
I have a question.
It's true, Fitzgerald. It's true.
I have a question. If you guys
sometimes, man, but like I said, you guys just saw on first display one of my coping mechanisms when I just put my head down and shook my head, good God. And here's what I was thinking. My God, he's right, but this can't be. But he's right. Why is it like that? He's right. No, it's hard to admit that
there's
truth.
A stage. That's all I know.
It's hard to admit that truth. These cats, we know that they're coming after our image, which the main thing that paint us off of that. But why be so damn stupid to continuously fall into that?
It's It's
okay. How many of you guys knew that the Oscars was on last night?
I had no clue.
Around 7 a.m.
Most people didn't know because I was thinking, is there a chance, even half a chance, that this thing was staged? Because the ratings were on the floor.
Okay, we're getting off a subject, Mr. Battle. We have quite a few hosts right here.
Yeah. I mean, it's not staged.
It hurt his image. It was not.
It did not.
in the sake of time, I like how you guys are flowing, but I don't know how long Prince Amir is going to let us stay. And I want to hear from these Miss RP, Miss Smith, and people like that, because I just want to hear, for us, your sector, because I am truly learning from this show. You guys are taking this into a whole another level that neither Dynasty and I anticipated. That's the beautiful thing about an open forum, because I was saying, okay, you should have controlled itself, but you guys actually paint me around the mechanisms and the workings behind the scenes, which is actually more interesting than what just happened. But yeah, our image is damaged badly. Could you imagine what would happen if Sidney Poitier would have did that back when he won that Oscar?
Oh man! Oh geez!
I mean, would we even be on this platform?
Damn, that's a good question.
Or Sidney Poitier, when a stranger comes home or something like that, he's married to a white lady and all the thing, but it's a very controversial role. But the man back in the 60s, was much worse then. What would have happened if he would have put the slap down? And what would have happened if that black lady who won the first Oscar back in the 20s? What would happen if she would have went off kilter like that?
I got two answers for that.
Would these actors and African American black actors would they be in the point right now had they would have lost control? Wow. So yeah, you guys got me thinking about the generations and the image of how this is looking, and this is a bad look. No, this is truly a bad look.
You know what? I'll answer your question, and I'm going to get back to this affect Will. What if Sidney Poitier did that 1967?
Raisin in the Sun. That was the name of it.
If he would have done that, I will guarantee you with some cryptos that I own, that not only they would have never invited him back to the Oscars, there would have been CBS News, NBC News about today, Negro actor Sidney Poitier slaps Mick Chabosky or whatever their name is. Now, this raised a question. It was a different time. Okay, in the 1920s, that was a different time. Even the black actors, they wouldn't have done that because there was no dysfunctionality in the black community at that time. Now, today, it's okay because you know why? White media establishment, the white liberal Hollywood, they like that. They like hood rat culture. They like Lizzo's big overweight ass showcasing the show, showing unhealthy women try out for dance. Even a white woman wouldn't dare do that because health is everything in her community. It's a different time. So no, if Sidney Poitier would have done that, not only they wouldn't invite him back, his career would have not blossomed. They would have they would have punished him. I mean, but again, it was a different time. Now this is 2020. It ain't post-COVID, but boy, we are on a different road today. The worst of the worst is on display.
But we really haven't come far, Mr. Josh. And the reason I say this, that Poitier, that was almost 60 years ago. True. Then you fast forward up there. I'm talking about male black Oscar winners, best actors and things. And then we see Denzel. That was like the early 90s for Training Day with his role as Alonzo. Now we see Will Smith. So we only see 3 black men with the incredible talent that's acting out there. Only 3 have won. 3 have won this Oscar of this caliber. So to my mind, in 60 years and 3, that's not very good. If you break it down mathematically, every 20 years or something like that. So if you break it down, but between Poitier and Washington, 60 to 90s. Okay, then now from Washington to Smith, 90s to 2022. True. That's not very much progress. And so my point of the matter is, if that's the case, in Jahari, this would be a great one for you because you're in the industry. With that type of progress and that type of snail right progress, once you get that opportunity, shouldn't you just accentuate and maximize it for all the good you can? I mean, to your community, to your people, where other people can possibly get those chances?
I think that the lady RP said it best. We have to really be careful, and I say this to say that, look, nobody cares about us. We should care about us. You know what I mean? Like, realistically, I don't watch the show. You know what I mean? I don't. I saw the clip and I had friends that were at the show. Okay. Now, listen, we should have our own shows. You know what I mean? We shouldn't even be going to these shows because they're not about us.
That's so
That's
true.
the bottom
You
line.
know, we don't value our own show. That's the problem. We don't value it.
Before I go, go ahead.
But this is the problem here. You know what I mean? We should have our own shows. We shouldn't be going to these shows. We know for years that they don't care about us. It's just like a poppy show, you know? It has no relevance for us. And especially for our youth coming up, the actors coming up now, it has no relevance for us. It doesn't. If you look in the audience, there's only like 20%, you know what I'm saying, of us actually in the audience. So it's not relevant for us. So we need to know this and take another journey. So
okay, I'll give you that, but it's relevant for the other class for how they look at us. So
yes,
once
I
again,
agree with that.
if you get that stage and you get that in that very unique stage, that's like winning the Powerball ticket while shooting a blind full court jump shot. You know, these things don't really happen. But if you got this stage and you understand the game and you understand this is the way that the game is played, wouldn't it behoove you to be at your absolutely highest elite when you get this platform that so many million people like us, who look like us, are eventually looking at, and other people are looking at? Why squander that opportunity and destroy an image that's already heavily under attack?
I will say this before I leave, and this is where you can actually get them. Like you said, this is the biggest moment in anybody's life. Even though Jahari said only 20% of Black people were in attendance in the Oscars, right now, the Black news channel is failing, and they haven't been here that long. Black people's opinions matter, not Black people.
No, not failing. It's failed. It's gone.
It's failed. Oh, damn. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Black people's opinions matter. Black opinions, not Black Democratic opinions, not Black Libertarian or whatever. They don't even exist. But this is why the Black Africa Diasporic channel I'm grateful that they're on. Phil Scott, I remember when he started out with the Phil Scott. So now you have Tuna Cheki and you have a lot of YouTubers out there. When you create your own platform, people listen. And this is why Roland Martin was lashing out on Jason Black, Phil Scott. He listens to them. Let's just be real. When his paymasters cut him his check, he has to find information from the Black opinion. Where does he go?
Hey, Josh, you know, before that, Roland Martin was crying about Joe Biden not giving him any money.
Yeah, he had to get paid to do that. No, yeah, he was crying. Well, he needed that check. I know that. And guess what? I think right now, who cares about the Oscars, Hollywood? Because time after time, you'll have a Black person win an Oscar, but it's back to normal. What you need to do is say, hey, the Black opinion, we don't care about the Oscars. I'm glad Tyler Perry's got a studio.
Mr. Josh, I like where you're going, but I'm not
true
caring about the Oscars, sir. I'm caring about the image that was projected.
The image, that's true.
That's what I don't care about the Oscars. I haven't watched Oscar in years. You know, I mean, there's no interest to it, but I do care about the image.
And I think that's the discussion. Like, okay, after what happened, we control your emotions, because Black people as
control your emotions. That's the image. Control your emotions.
Yeah, with all the trauma, it's very hard to hold those emotions. That's why mental health is key. But the image, Black men have an image that they need to portray positively. So the women, that way you could defy all the stereotypes. And then when they try to bring programs that are benign neglect, you simply show it as a side effect and then move on. But when you create your own platforms, little by little, the public opinion will stray away from the dominant status quo. And then, like I said, America can't do without Black people. At the end of the day, they always got to know what's the trends, what Black people buying, where they're going. Even when you look at travel leisure websites, they want to know where's Black women travel to. So when you start to get away from the status quo, they need to pay their puppeteers like Roland Martin, or who's the Jamel LaPuke, whatever her name is, to find out what's the Black thought thinking about. Because there was one magazine that did a great thing about Black in the 1990s, and that even though they went there to help distribute aid, that was the only time you had great Black media. I forget the founder of that magazine in the early 80s, but they said a lot of Black troops are getting all types of names called by them in Somalia. And then you had white and Black soldiers, but the Black soldiers were being tormented with bad words that were in Somali. So that was good Black media back then, but then they ceased to exist. So again, it's how do you control your image? And you have to have this talk. But yeah, that's something to think about for this decade. Anyway, you guys enjoy your day. And I'm gonna enjoy this 25-degree weather in Chicago. So couldn't be nowhere. Just kidding. Just
Oh
kidding.
my God, gotta get the help, gotta get out of Chicago, man.
Well, we got 2 more months. 1 more
81
month.
in Tampa, brother.
Damn, I'm semi jealous. But anyway, yeah, you guys have a great day. Peace out, and yeah, enjoy your lives.
You say bye, Josh.
Mr. Tunaja, talk to me.
Hi, thanks for having me. I've always thought this Oscar was a bit of a sham since they didn't award or even nominate the Harder They Fall for any of this stuff. I was really crossed by that in the first place. So to hear about this stuff is a little bit funny. Regarding the actions of Will Smith, I don't think the community should see it as anything, a judgment on us at all. I think that we are being too sensitive. We've seen all kinds of crazy stuff from other communities, so I don't see any reason why we should be worried about that at all. What we should be more concerned about is what he did, how wrong it is from the point of view of a man that is acting from frustration and from defending his wife. We talk about how people want to have our men, take care of their families and all the rest of it. For all Will Smith's faults, he has managed to stick by his family, and as weird as he can be, he has done that. And what I see from him is that, as somebody that has experienced something like that recently, where you are heaped with abuse constantly, on and on and on, you don't know when you're going to let loose. And maybe that's what happened there. As wrong as it is, it's just one of those events that occurs, and we shouldn't take it personal. It's just two people having a tiff, and I don't know how these things happen, whether when they are having these jokes written, they consult the people they are about to joke about or stuff like that. I feel like if Chris Rock knew where Will Smith was, maybe he would have, thought about it twice. Because sometimes people react, they don't think. And if it had turned into a fight, Will Smith's career would be over. It would have been over. He took that risk. He didn't care. It tells you that something else was going on there. He has been pushed to the wall. People say he was drunk. And in the end, he reacted. And we should not take it personally. We have other people that go about killing kids with guns, and people talking about grabbing women's private parts and all the rest of it. This has nothing to do with the community. These are two rich people having a bit of a tiff. And if you ask me, Will Smith has people like to badmouth Will Smith too much and his family. For all the weirdness that guy has got, he's still sticking by his family. And is that not what we all thinking about?
Tonight, I need you to put on your Niger man in Nigeria hat on for a second. Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
No, hold on. Tonight, in Nigeria, would a woman be that comfortable to come out and embarrass her family like that?
A woman would not, but a man would happily do the same thing. See, the other day somebody informed me that Nigerian divorce rate.
How are Nigerian men coming out on a public stage?
If you insult a Nigerian man's wife.
Listen, we'll call it the green table talk. A married Nigerian man talking about how he's having sex with his friends, with his son's or daughter's friend. A Nigerian man in public on channels TV, bragging about how he's still in love.
I understand that, but that is not what happened yesterday, to be fair. That's not what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday was somebody that lost their temper.
He brought up how this man sticking with his family. That's a good thing, but I mean, come on.
Nigerian men will react the same. Somebody highlighted to me recently that Nigerian divorce rate is less than 1%. I refuse to believe it. But if that is possible, it tells you that, and I've seen it before. Nigerian couples, you don't get in their middle. If something is going on, don't get involved. Let them do their thing, and when they are done, then they can refer to you. And I think there is this element we have now in the West where everybody feels like they can chip into people's marriages. And I don't understand why that is the case.
Nobody's shipping into their marriage. They put their marriage on Front Street. Okay. They have a show. Jada has a show, Tunaja, where she brings people into her bedroom into her relationship. She has a show. A show. I mean,
I
come
think
on.
that's their fault. Okay, fine. All I can say is we shouldn't make this about ourselves. I think there's an element of that going on where it's like, the black community, we are embarrassing ourselves. So what? A guy got pissed and he slapped another black guy. So what? Maybe he felt that the black guy should know better about his situation. So let's not make it this about ourselves at all. They are all going to be fine. If anything, he might actually get a boost in the kind of movie they'll play him as a bad guy or something. So let's not get
Niger.
play him as a bad guy. This is what they do. If somebody does something wrong, look at what's his name, Tom Cruise. He acted crazy.
He's missing the point. To Niger, the whole premise of the show is built around comedians roasting each other. Chris Rock was roasting everybody. He roasted Javier Banderas and Penelope Cruz. He was roasting everybody on that show. That's what they do. That's the premise of the show.
I understand that, but I know what it feels like when somebody keeps getting all kinds of, we all have criticized Will Smith. Even I have criticized Will Smith.
Will lost control last night. He lost
all the rest
control
of it.
His emotions.
Exactly, that's what happened.
He lost control of his emotions.
That is true, but you can't expect every black man to be. They're under scrutiny all the time. We can't set a different standard for other people that we set a higher standard for our men. We can't always keep doing that and make it about us whenever they do something. It's not about us all the time. It's about them. And this man got frustrated, and some people say he's got a drink problem. He goes up and whacks another black guy. So be it. If I personally, the way I look at it is that stuff happens. It's just that simple. Stuff happens. The guy got caught. The guy got pissed, and he slapped the guy. So what?
Be serious. You cannot be serious.
I mean, what did you expect from Niger, Fitzgerald? What did you expect from Niger?
What do you see? If Fitzgerald is saying this now, if Fitzgerald was insulted continuously, you will not know when you react. You will just react.
Niger is gonna play the.
It's not fair.
I would consider. I mean, that's how I am. That's what I do. I would consider the setting. Of course, I would be upset. No, I would be flaming hot upset, but I would consider the setting I am. I'm a man who projects. I run scenarios. If this or what that. I mean, I'm a little older.
What if you don't have the time to consider? We've had this case before. Everybody says, "Oh, hindsight is always 2020." Whenever you think you can think that you know
where everything. Where are you going?
What I'm going with this is that the guy is allowed to react.
Okay,
he's a human being.
Okay, well, I get your point. But I ask, we get another.
And we shouldn't make it about us. It's about him. He's just reacting, and
I understand that.
Behind it is not so dishonorable.
Mr. Stevens.
I never said he was dishonorable, sir. I mean, we're not turning this into, we're not turning this into.
Because what I don't like is anything happens to one of our people, we make it about us. It's not about us all the time. We shouldn't be always flagellating ourselves because somebody did something wrong. We shouldn't be apologizing to anyone about any of our actions at all. Nobody apologizes for their own actions.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm not trying to run a psychological profile on this man why he did what he did. I mean, does he have a right to be angry about that? Yes. Does he have a right to lash out like he did in that type of setting? No.
Yeah, on paper it's not right, and it happened, and he should pay a price for it. To be fair, if you ask me, if there was a way to make him pay a price, he should pay a price. But Hollywood, knowing what Hollywood is, they'll find a way to smooth it up and make him look shiny again.
Okay, that's what they do. That's what they do. And as we was sitting up here talking about, this man is responsible. You and I share the same. He is responsible for his action, and I don't back off of that for no human being. But and I do agree with you on this. Frankly, what goes on with that man and his wife, that's their business. We ain't got nothing to do with that.
Exactly.
I'm just talking about far as what the occurrence of what happened. That was dead wrong. And once again, I'm not here to run a psychological profile on a man. It's not concerned. I know he's in pain. We all know he's in pain, but a lot of this pain is all this pain is self-inflicted. Okay, so if you're gonna continue to ride into that situation, you're gonna continue to abide into a situation that horrendous is causing you that amount of pain, then be prepared for whatever comes out. And you're gonna, in other words, if I'm in this pain, if I'm in that type of pain, and I have been, I have to look at, okay, well, if I continue to stay in that, which I didn't, if I continue to go ahead and dwell in that, well, if I go off and cold cock and lose my cool and do things like that, I'm responsible for every bit of the consequences that happen to me. I could eliminate that. I could eliminate the stress. So I don't believe in, I don't believe in being around things that's just going to constantly just keep dragging me down. But that's me. That's me. How he chooses to do everything, that's different. And the reason I'm going here, because the audience, especially with Miss RP and Miss White, they have me see a whole nother thing. Okay, it's not about really about him. It's like, okay, what is this saying? Okay, if he's making it, made us look bad as a people, man.
No,
Mr. Stevens,
that is not us. That is him. And
anybody, okay, no, I got to interject you. Now, you do understand how the media weaponizes itself against us. I mean, do you understand that, right?
I do understand that, but we shouldn't.
Okay, so what do you mean it's just him? It is just him.
Let them weaponize what they want to
how the media is going. But you understand how the media can frame this and how they're framing this in regards to these black brutes can't control themselves. We give these Negroes Oscars and they still acting a fool. I mean, you do understand that, right?
To be fair, I don't know whether that is what is going on here.
Come on,
seriously, I don't see. Even if that is what is going on, who cares? You think this will be kind to us anyway? In the end, we shouldn't have to be worrying about them. We should be worrying about what we are doing, and because that is all they do too. We can't always be watching our phone because it's very, very stressful to be worrying about how people see you constantly. It's really stressful. You should worry about what you are doing here. You have to live a purposeful life. Don't worry about them. It's everything in this life is transaction. It's what you get out of it. They will do what they want to do, and we get what we want to get from it. We can't make everything about ourselves. It's just stressful. We are stressing our communities out when we make it about us all the time. If they are targeting us, we'll find a way to target them too. If they are accusing us of being brutes, we accuse them of white supremacy, accuse them of all kinds of things. The one they are guilty of and the one they are not guilty of too. It's a war. If it's a war, all is fair. It's just that simple. We can't always be watching our steps all the time and checking our own constantly because it's stressful. And probably that is partly why Will Smith did what he did yesterday, because he was stressed.
Mr.
Okay, well,
Dinas.
you know what? I'm
a passive Fitzgerald. Like Fitzgerald said,
I owe the audience.
If he's stressed, remove yourself from the situation, dude. I
owe the audience an apology, and I'm going to give it right here. I was wrong. I say, yeah, it reflects on us, a people. I retract that. That was a statement that's not right. No, sir. It doesn't reflect on me as a people. It doesn't reflect on Dinas. It reflects on Mr. Smith as a person. I'm doing the exact same thing that I dislike so much, and many times I called on this show. I'm generalizing. No, I'm not going to put that, because it is some great men and women and people of color who don't do that, who go ahead and carry themselves back in classy ways. And for me to say that reflected on them, that was a wrong statement. I apologize to this audience for making it. I was wrong.
Mr. Stevens,
thank you. I accept that. I think that's a good thing. We shouldn't be making things about. We are stressing our community, and we don't even know it when we buy into the narrative that they are trying to make us look bad. Only us can make us look bad. We make them look bad too. We should accuse them of all kinds of stuff. If they start, you say we accuse them of racism for covering it like that. You turn the table. This is a war. You can't always be taking hits constantly.
To Niger, let's be real for a minute, and I agree with what you're saying. And Mr. Stevens, I don't think, okay, you should take it all back. I don't think you were so wrong before, because here's the thing. As much as I love to see things as an individual, I'm a nationalist like that. I love to see things as individuals, but the world does not look at us as individuals. We have to be real. Okay? There's something called reputation. For example, I know many Nigerians like to Niger. They are good people. But there's a reputation. There's a reputation like, okay, they are scammers. When you think about Nigerians, they're scammers. There's things they are blocked from accessing. I was in the writing world. There are things that Nigerians cannot access because they're seen as scammers. You see? That's a world view. You understand? Right now, there's Russia and Ukraine going on. What's happening to Russia? They're being banned. Even Russians who had nothing to do with it. Okay? There is such a thing as a global perspective, how you are seen. You cannot wish that away to say that, okay, it's not about us. It's just, well, that one guy. They look at us as a group,
And
as a
I
pack.
also think Nigerians should fight back. You see, that's the stupidity of our communities. Constantly, we keep taking hits. Why Nigerians, if you look at the market of scamming, even Nigerians barely get 5% of the scamming market. Why should we be taking the reputation? You see what he just said just now? It's because
But you
Nigerians
see-
sit back. We should be accusing others of all kinds of scams every day.
What can
Why should we
Nigerians
be
do?
taking it constantly?
What can Nigerians do
You
to,
accuse
avo-
other
to
people
avoid
too.
to avoid a ban? You see, you're being banned by a government, by a big companies. What can Nigerians do? What can normal Nigerians do about it? They can't do anything. It's a
What
perception.
do you mean you can't do anything? How do you think it happened in the first place? People ran
Because-
campaigns and blackballed Nigerians for that with that kind of reputation. The same thing can be done in the opposite direction. Every war goes both ways. It's when you keep taking it and apologizing for it, and that's very important point that you actually raised, because it ties into this point where even the African American community likes to apologize for everything. They shouldn't have to be apologizing for anything. They should fight back. That is how you do stuff. The best form of defense is attack. You keep
I agree with
defending and defending and defending. It's never going to end.
I agree with you, but
I wasn't
sometimes-
apologizing for the black community. What I was simply saying, I don't want when I said that he's reflected upon us. Okay, I believe I was wrong in making that statement. And here's why: because there are a lot of people out there who are not doing that. Millions of people who are not doing that. No, and all that Nigerian scammer stuff like that. I don't buy that, man. I know personal Nigerians, good people. So I'm not going to put them all in the same category. That's how I was making it. But then again, someone could argue about, okay, the image because of this man's level and his notoriety could mean something. But ultimately, that man's responsible for his decision and his alone. That was a reflection on him, not us as a people.
Can I ask the panel one question?
Let me just address this point. Somebody was saying on the comment that all I understand is combat. And yet we all know we are in a war. This world, there is always a war being waged against us constantly. We know that full well. Why should you not act as if you're in a war? Every time you keep apologizing for your behavior, why should they don't apologize for all kinds of crazy things they do? They just brush it under the carpet and everybody moves on. We should all do the same thing. And I think Nigerians should do the same thing too. Because if it is earned, it's a different thing. If there have been Nigerians who are living large from all this money that they say they are scamming, it's a different thing. We know the people that really make money from scamming. Bernie Madoff made $60 billion. You put all these scammers in Nigeria for the last 20, 30 years, they have not seen that kind of money at all. But yet, we have the reputation. It's just ridiculous. We have to learn how to fight back. And that is the mindset that we need to start having right now. Because this apology that we keep making all the time is a stressful thing. Can you imagine going anywhere, you apologize for being black? It's stressful. Anytime you want to defend yourself, oh, you are too loud. Oh, you have to do this way. You have to do that way. It's a stressful way to live. While other people just waltz around and do whatever they like. Enough.
No, but you understand. But again, the what we're saying is, Will should have been removed himself from the situation. You're talking about he needs to be being a good family man, because the person who's causing the stress is in his bedroom or in his house, not the white man, not white supremacy, not the media. It's in his own home.
Will Smith brought that on himself. He's the one
that's
who
what I'm
put
saying.
his family business in public. If you put your family business in public to Niger, there's going to be public scrutiny. That's what happens when you put your business out there. Number two, can we agree as a panel that we care about image? Every company in the world cares about its image. Is that true or false? Every group, any organization cares about its image. I look
Of
at our
course.
people as a brand, as a global image. So if we look, if every organization cares about its image, if the Jews don't like their name to be tarnished, if this group does, if the LGBT, you say something about HIV about them, and you are in trouble, if this group cares about it, why shouldn't we care what one of us does on a global stage in front of millions of people? We should care.
No, the only way you
It
care,
doesn't mean
to care
Well,
means taking action.
hold on, Tunaj. I want to hear Jahari and Fitzgerald. Then we're going to start closing out. Go ahead, Jahari.
I think like we need to learn from this. You know what I mean? It's another learning point for us. Okay, that we have these other studios, like Tyler Perry has these studios. We need to create. We have award shows, but we need to up the ante. We need to get the money in and make these shows bigger so that we don't have to go to any of these other award shows. And just recently, Whoopi Goldberg was whipped with the whipping stick, you know what I mean, for something she said, and given 2 weeks to reflect. Like,
exactly.
we have to look at how we're perceived and lead with our emotions, and not lead with our emotions. Chris Rock made a joke in a show that the premise of the whole show is based on hosts that are comedians that roast and do jokes all day long. I can't sit in Will's shoes and say how he felt in that moment, but I felt like his reaction was coming from a different place. It was misdirected to me personally, from what I saw. And I think that his wife should have reined him in and said, no, don't do that, and pulled him down and said, let's just leave it. Let's deal with it later. And that didn't happen. So this is the reaction that we have now. And that's just my opinion on it. And we have to be careful, choose our battles, and be careful when we react and how we react, because we're being watched every second of the day. And we know this. And that's just my point on it. And thank you, Diners, for having me on the show. I haven't been on YouTube for a long time. I've been, sitting back, because I've got other things going on. But thank you. I appreciate you for letting me up. Blessings to the panel and everybody in the chat. And have a good day.
All right. Thank you for joining. Fitzgerald, go ahead. Close us out, Mr. Stevens. You got to mute yourself. You're muted. You're muted. Fitzgerald, you're muted. You're muted, Fitzgerald. You're muted. You got to mute yourself.
I think I think there could be a win-win in this. Okay, I think the man, needs to just tell the truth. Hey, I'm seeking. I'm going to take a little time off to work on my mental health. Now, this is not an excuse, but people clearly know that there is something going on with the man. If you made this choice, okay. The next thing you could do is go get therapy for this choice, where this behavior won't be accepted again. And people who are going through mental health issues now, it doesn't have the stigma like it used to have 5-10 years ago. Many notable people are coming out address this matter. The one I keep remembering in recent memory, Miss Osaka, the Black Japanese tennis player, when she was not able to deal with the heckling, well, she took some time off for the mental health, and actually, that seemed to be widely acceptable now, where people, okay, if I'm having these issues, let me go get some help. It's not an excuse; these are real life issues. So I think perhaps that road should be highly considered by Mr. Smith. And actually, we all want him to get healing somewhere along the line. So does it look like would that excuse as far as what go away? No, but he would be taking a giant step forward by admitting that, hey, that this has been an issue with me. I'm seeking out to get treatment in order to become out better. I think he can be widely accepted. And I think people can, I think he can win off of that. With his family can win, and and the image would not really take so much of a hit. But I think if he chooses not to do that and he continue to handle things as it's been going, I think this is only the tip of the iceberg of what's actually going on. That man needs help. And, that man is crying out, and it's something that we should highly want to see this man continue to prosper and continue to be whole. I mean, that would be my take on it.
I agree.
Cool.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead and close out.
Yeah, I think, on balance, obviously, he should not go and slap Chris Rock. That's quite wrong for an adult to do. And then I just think that we shouldn't make it about us. It's about an individual that is reacting, to an extent, in a way to defend his family. I think that instinct, where it comes from, is not a bad instinct to have. I think more of our men need to have that type of instinct. So I think I will leave it at that. I just think that it is wrong, but we shouldn't make it about us. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Go to dynastybeer.com. Also, tour Sierra Leone, April 17th to the 30th. If you have your African ancestry DNA paperwork, and it links you back to Sierra Leone, you're eligible for citizenship. So hit me up. Go to donfo.africa. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Uhuru. Peace.